obsessive stalker and miserable losers. I'm Casey O'Brien, and today I was watching the sunset from my mountaintop, charging my devices, making the mosquitoes bugger off. You fuckwit. Anyway, I have my to-do list here. I'm doing my weekly to-do list because my week has officially started. Because I felt like it started. So, I didn't feel like starting it on Sunday, so we're going to start it on Monday evening. So, I've got my cushion here drying. We're going to move that there. But right now it's just... Anyway, hey Peter, what do I want to do this week? That would be good. Move everything to middle of area where there's no grass, so everything's out of the way of where I would put a lawnmower or a weed whacker. Lawnmower question mark? Question mark? Shed question mark? Because I have a shed I haven't set up yet. Do I want to set up that shed again? I didn't set it up at first because I was pissed. What up, Susie? Thank you for the rain chant. Needed it. What's that down there? Is that an animal? I see something that looks like an animal. Could it be my pigeon? Probably not. My pigeon's probably lost in these woods up here. Let me see. How have you been, Susie? My pigeon is somewhere in these woods, either dead or alive. And I don't know where he is. I don't know where my pigeon is. He's in those woods somewhere. But right now, I'm doing my weekly to-do list. Move everything to middle of area. Lawnmower question mark. Shed question mark. Then obtain the brush cutter. Obtain DA brush cutter. Brush cutter. Figure out oil mixture. Because I do have a weed whacker, but I don't have the brush cutter weed whacker yet. I'm getting that this week, but I do have a weed whacker, so potentially. I just saw a floating, glowing deer head in the woods. Pointed right at me. Like a deer, I just saw a glowing deer skull. Swear to God. You saw my head jump. I'm not making it up. I was looking over here, focused on something, and I legitimately saw a giant, glowing, floating deer skull with antlers just right there. Did you take my pigeon, motherfucker? That's been happening a lot recently. Like, the more that I've been sort of getting involved with the Christian community, the more that I've just been getting hit with waves of energy and being able to see sort of like pagan-like spirits out in the woods watching me very closely. Like, I literally had a woman profess her love for Jesus in front of me in a church and was talking about the specific moment she felt like a high vibrational connection was permanently established when she was saved by Christ. And I swear to God, I saw a witch in the doorway staring at me, angry. And I'd seen that witch for 20 years now, over 4 different times. And I had forgotten that witch existed. I never gave that witch any thought, and then I just see it casually next to me. I don't like that shit, so that gives me, like, if I had Christianity plus everything else, that would give Christianity a plus. Like, 1 point goes to Gryffindor right there. Because when I'm around Christians that are actually, like, spiritually connected to something, I do tend to see angry ghosts always doing work on me that get exposed by talking about Jesus. Whether it's a cheat code to obtain Christ consciousness or not, it is seemingly effective at something. Anyway, Then we have figure out. You notice when I got the idea, it triggered a bird over there. When the idea went and I knew what to write, the bird over there got triggered. During the daytime, the crows won't allow me to have ideas or have any types of thoughts. Those birds are weaker animals that are afraid of me because I'm bigger, but crows are not afraid of me because they're smart. So crows will just go off, and those birds are still pissed at whatever I'm doing, but Jesus is coming soon. This is loving warning heaven. I don't like people that talk like that, man. And if you're breathing right now, God has given you time to repent and turn to. Yeah, I don't like that stuff. The deer, specifically the white-tailed deer, was tied to the underworld of the Mississippian tripartite cosmos. Yeah, but the deer skulls are something that's in the Green Mountains here. Like Appalachia has these beings with deer skulls and black robes. And that's just whatever it actually is, that's how it chooses to show itself. And I've seen them a dozen times now, and I just saw one again just standing right there. They must be connected through the root system or something and then conjured up. That shit's crazy out there. I don't know. That whatever that is down there hasn't moved. What was I talking about? Oh, figure out insulation, which I have, which is how much I need, and putting that in. And then I have a hammer. I'm just gonna put nails. I'm just gonna write nails. It's so weird. Like the guy that comes up here that works for KC, his organization is called KC, and his name is Ray. He comes up here and he tells me, I have all these connections. But when I ask him for help, he thinks I need to learn a lesson that I've learned when I was 11, when I dropped out of school when I was 14 to try to buy my family a house. Like all these dumb people, man. They can't see out of their own mind to see. Maybe he already knows. Maybe he's here for a reason, you know? But anyway, he told me I need to get a staple gun and figure out how to staple my camper stuff together. So originally he tried to get me to pay rent, and then I just said no, and then the owner was like, no, I don't want him to pay rent. That would kind of defeat the purpose of why he's here. Which is pretty chill like that, you know what I'm saying? Probably also a bunch of other colonizer reasons they're not telling me, like taxes and permits and all this garbage. All this Freemason garbage to get you enslaved to Israel. But, yeah, I don't know why it won't help. He does help with some things, though, which is pretty cool. Like, I can be butthurt all I want that he's not giving me access to his network of millionaires, but... Because think about what I could do. Like, if I just got $100,000 in my back pocket right now, one, I would be famous on Kick in a week. Two, I would be buff as fuck. Three, I would be eating extremely healthy with all the supplements that I need. Four, I would be driving a much better car and I would have had it paid off. Five, I would have given money back to the people that helped me. And six, I would be a giant glowing symbol of the Lord's grace for all to look upon in jealousy and realize, man, I should have treated him better, and I'm not living the right way, am I? Which would cause a change in the whole collective in their jealousy of me, which is what they did. You know, guess how many, because I dated the hottest girl in school, that caused all of the hundreds of dorks that wanted her to hit the gym and get full-time jobs and work hard to try to outperform me because I was miles ahead of all of them. And then I got in a car accident, which left me fucked up, and now Almost 10 years have gone by, and I've become this thing. And now all those people that were trying to outperform me, they're all getting their moments of gloating, because now they see me limping down the street. Oh, please stop hurting me. God, stop, please. I didn't do anything to deserve this, and I really didn't. Well, they get to be like, haha, I got a job at FedEx. And I was like, I literally can't work at FedEx because a schizophrenic filed a false police report on me and I became a felon. Or I would have $100,000 right now in cash plus $1 million in my bank account because I'm autistic and I could have done crypto so much better than any of you could ever. I could have made my own meme coin and rug pulled a bunch of 12-year-olds with their parents' money. Try me, bitch. I would have done AI bots as moderators too, so I wouldn't have to hire the mods and cut them in on it. I would have been running 6 different computers off Solar and Starlink to pretend I'm 7 different people. Just like Andrew Tate did, but instead of pimping out women, I would just be getting reparations back from suburban white kids. You know what I'm saying? So, but instead I wound up here on a mountaintop in a $3 million property, and I'm trying to get a brush cutter to find my lost pigeon. Funny how the world works, right? Can you guys see the view down there? There we go, that's better. Casey and Ray, that's us. Yeah, he works for KC, and his last name is Ray. And then I went to church on Sunday, and then a guy named Dan walked out of the church and said, I need to introduce you to Gary. So Gary's retired and bored and might help me here, and Dan has 3 injured pigeons and a crow that he's taking care of. Their family just takes care of injured pigeons now. So he walks up to me. Nobody knows I have a pigeon, but he just walks out and we're vaping together. And then he goes, can I show you my pigeons? Look at these pigeons I just got. But it was after, it wasn't just like that. It wasn't like he had known I had a pigeon and walked out to ask about the pigeon. It was just that we were talking and I saw him get inspired to say it. There could be behind my back, checking my Facebook page and seeing I posted about the pigeon. I don't know, but he comes up and says that he has pigeons. So then I was like, I'm going to just give him the pigeon. And then I come here and the pigeon's gone. So I don't know. Nice to hear you going through a to-do list. I do to-do lists every single day. My life is wake up, hunt for things on Marketplace, get some type of food for one meal a day. It's usually a Domino's pizza for $7.99. And then I come back, eat my pizza, watch Avatar, go to bed, wake up in the middle of the night, get all this vape out of my heart. It hurts. Stay up all night meditating. When the morning comes, I try to fight the crows off, but eventually I'm always left defeated and empty and hollow and lifeless because I just can't figure out how to spiritually fight back without screaming. So then when I'm emptied and lifeless and I can't think, then I struggle for the next 12 hours to function or move or do anything. Because it's like my brain just does not work after the crow attacks. But then I usually will find something on Marketplace that will send me back off hunting again for something. Like I just got a hand dolly, a bird net, a wagon, hand truck, and a hand tiller, and a table and chairs that was given away for free. Somebody gave me a weed whacker for free. I haven't seen if it works yet. Somebody's giving me another weed whacker this week. A gazebo, giant pavers that weigh like 500 pounds each, and I have 11 of them. A bunch of wood, like rotted wood that was in a garden bed that I was going to make Unalak a enrichment center. Or just the frame for mosquito nets to lay around the gazebo or something. There's a bat. There's a bat up there. So I've just been hunting stuff on Marketplace, and then usually at the end of the week I look back and realize how much of Heather's money I've wasted. If I had just stayed put and saved money, I would have had so much from the tithe. But after the crows, I think I'm doing something righteous, and I'm building something that will protect me from the crows in the future. To be honest with you, like it used to be, this is what's going to get me a job. Then it became, this is what's going to protect me from crows and make my life better. And before that, it was, this is just what's going to get me through the day. So I am improving. I'm just improving slowly. I no longer feel like if I lost this and I was back on the street, I would probably try to kill myself again. But now I don't feel suicidal at all currently, which is huge, because I've been suicidal since I was 11, I think, was when I first jumped off a bridge. Because my mom took my Xbox away because some old bitch told her to, because I wasn't behaving. And I was like, I'm an ancient god, you ignorant fucks. I escape into the Xbox because I'm unhappy with my life. And there's nothing I can do to change it. Because I'm 11. I can't will myself to grow. I knew if I was taller, people would treat me better. I want to play my video games and eat my pizza. Sue me. School is easy, but I see no point in it. You know, like I would ace all my classes. So then I decided to just, if I knew it, and I knew they were just going to test me on it later, but I knew it, when the test came around, I had photographic memory. I didn't have any drugs or brain injury or anything. I just had a complete photographic memory. So I would just go back to the morning of that day where I learned it, and I would go through my entire day until I found the moment where I learned it, and then I would just know it again. So then I could just do it. So I didn't see a point in tests, because I thought that my memory would just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow as I got older. And it did. That did stay the case, where I could go back through my entire catalog of memories entirely up until, I would say, I got on citalopram. When I got on a antidepressant, it made me stay kind of in manic psychosis the entire time, and I would just hide it. And also my first relationship, like when I fell in love for the first time. That made a big change in how my mind worked. I don't know why. Maybe because I finally came down to earth and opened my root chakra when I got laid. That would make sense to me, that I wasn't living up in spirit completely as like a higher dimensional consciousness weaving through time and space, and I became like a normal guy. I probably just decided, you know, all that stuff I was doing kind of sucked anyway. So I want to get laid at Dakota's house. That's when things started going downhill, after my first relationship. Before that, I'm not saying I wasn't crazy, but I was also very smart. You know, like I was still pretty crazy. I've always been crazy. But, you know, it got a lot worse as I got older. So that's why I didn't do school. But my mom took away my Xbox, and I was like, I have nothing left to live for. So I threw a temper tantrum. I didn't run around yelling or anything. But I did go into the kitchen, and I spilled everything in the fridge. Like, my mom had wine and milk, and I just dumped it all. My dad came in and was like, why are you doing this? You know, you can't be doing this. Come on. And I was like, didn't say anything. And then I walked out to the bridge, and I jumped off a bridge and tried to kill myself. And then somebody saw me and called the ambulance. And I lived. You know, it never works. I've hung myself twice. I've tried to shoot myself now. I've taken every pill in my ex's grandmother's medicine cabinet. I have driven my car 90 miles an hour into a pole and the airbag didn't go off. And I've jumped off bridges. I've jumped off a few bridges. And there's more, I just can't remember it probably. Oh yeah, I cut my wrist open and tried to bleed out in a bathtub, but that didn't work very well. And it just never works. So I was like, I don't know what I'm here for, but now I have 100 acres. Like, I was just, the day after I tried to shoot myself, I'm just given 100 acres. And you can go back on my channel where I said I just need a piece of land as a sanctuary to build my modular homes that are red and white. I just want a red and white tiny home and a piece in the woods. And then I thought it was just going to be getting a little one and then living in like a tiny thing out in hiding from everybody all day. But after I tried to kill myself, I got 100 acres and I got a massive version of what I asked for. And as much as I have hang-ups about Christianity, and it seems like the thing I think is God also has a lot of hang-ups about modern day Christianity. Like, how come none of these Christians are going and getting any more stones from the ground and building these giant monasteries that have the golden ratio to make resonance chambers to literally shake off the demonic energies vibrationally with the bells, and then building atop it so that we can actually have like a connection between the heavens and the earth through spiritual science, like frequency, energy, and vibration? How come nobody's doing that? I seem to be the only one trying. So now I have a place to try that out here. And, you know, it just depends on, this is one of the, I'm the wealthiest state in New England. The wealthiest people in New England live an hour from me. So I could just go there and try and see, like, hey, I'm trying to do this big thing and start saving a massive amount of people. I would be inviting YouTubers up here. I would be inviting the masses with like a system where they start out on the ground in the tent down there, and they slowly work towards, through the nature journey here and the Christian journey up to the top. And then when they get to the top, they should have skills and a foundation, which is, okay, holy shit, guys. When I was fucking 17 and I would drive around in my car, what I was thinking about every day was what I called the boot camp for dreamers, where I was going to start an online course and a YouTube channel where people just call in and I do like live clients where they come in, and it'll be like this guy Zach, who was like 400 pounds, 5'10", and wanted to be a rapper. There was something real. He had some issues, for sure, and I would be coaching him. I wanted to do a lot of stuff, but one of those involved being a coach, like some type of life coach. Back in the day, I wanted to be a life coach. Then I wanted to do it with a guy named Aaron Alexander, and then I went down to Miami and lived with Aaron Alexander, and I got high, and then they just kicked me out because I didn't come home with a girl that night. Like, I had the opportunity to. Like, one of the girls, I got like 15 girls' numbers that night, and then one of them showed up at the Airbnb, and I decided, I just said, like, I'm not here for that. I have a girl back home. I came here because I think we could do something great together. And he said, kill yourself. So then I wandered around Miami until some guy, I think is the devil, showed up and said, you met me because your mission here failed. And then I felt completely empty, and I can't even think, and I can't move. And he goes, I just took your water. And then I feel like I'm a child, like a 6-year-old again. And the lights are so much brighter, and I felt like a whole new person. And he said, I just gave you new water. I didn't have to, but I like you. Bye. And then I literally just passed out and then woke up going to the hospital. Wasn't drugged or anything. Maybe alcohol with antidepressants. I don't know. But that happened. But guess who blew up? Guess what his name is? So me and Mr. Alexander didn't work out. But guess who became the biggest pickup channel on the internet? Casey Zander. Oh, it's real. It's always been real. You idiots. Come on, believe in me. It's real, man. Casey Zander became the biggest men's dating channel. Casey Rocket became the biggest stand-up comedian for a season. Queso was the biggest gamer. Tyson Nat was the biggest streamer. Casey, Loki, and OB defeated Casey, Kang the Conqueror, and Loki became the Acacia, the Tree of Life, Yggdrasil. It's all here. I don't know what I'm supposed to do exactly, but right now I'm trying my best. Which I'm not. I could be going harder in the gym. But I did just get $1,000 worth of protein. And now I have a plug that's going to give me another $1,000 worth of protein next week for free. What up, Jay Sprints? Then, so I'm making progress. Then what else? I don't know. I'm seeing a border collie Somebody suggested I get a border collie. I looked up border collies. They're dope, but they need a lot of work. Like, I would have to take the dog somewhere. Like, there's a lot of water here, but there's no real waterfront. To tire the border collie out, I'd have to take him out to the water, and I'd have like 15 times use the chuck it to chuck him and make him do these elaborate gauntlets to stimulate his brain just so that he's chill during the day. Which could help me, I could be while I do that and he goes off and I'm doing the commands. In between that, I could do my sets and do push-ups and stuff. Turns out the biggest threat to that pigeon was actually weasels. I didn't account for weasels. But everybody around here says, no, you cannot have birds out here because there's weasels. And weasels can get into anything and they will rip through entire flocks of chickens. One guy I met yesterday who was that thing I was going to buy off Marketplace was a black bear rug. And it was listed for $1. And he said, I just need to get rid of it. So I go there and we're talking and I'm going to give him $80. And then right when it comes time to pay and we're about to go there, he goes, how much did you bring? I said, all I have is $80. And he goes, oh, I was thinking more like 800. And I was like, and then the guy's like, I mean, you can have the bear head I shot. And I was like, I don't think I want that bear. So I didn't get it. But that's why I drove an hour away into New Hampshire. Which sucks, but it is what it is, man. But he told me that he had 100 chickens at one point, and a weasel crawled in, and in one night he took out 80 of those chickens. He didn't even eat them. The weasel just killed them all for no reason. So, Unalak probably got fucked up by a weasel and just dragged into the woods, and I haven't found him yet, which sucks. Because if, it was just raining, so I couldn't do it. I could have done it, but I was waiting on today. Today was the day I was going to set up his shelter. I was naive and I killed that pigeon. But you know what? He was running from house cats every day. There were osprey that were swooping down on him and hawks that were swooping down on him at the park. People had said that they'd seen that pigeon nearly die 100 times. But it lived under a dumpster, so it would just run back to the dumpster. So I at least, who knows how long that pigeon spent living in the gutter. And I at least got to move him up here, which was cool. Which is probably symbolic that I'm most likely going to be killed soon. Because I was like that pigeon, just broken and wandering around in circles, trying my best, and then hiding under the dumpster. At one point in my life, I literally did live in between dumpsters, eating their food when they would throw it out, freezing, and brain damage, basically. And now I'm here. So I saved a pigeon, and I brought it up here. It's kind of like the ultimate thing I could do. Was be there for a symbol of my own life. Maybe it was just that pigeon's time to go. I don't know. So the pigeon got to live like royalty for a while. And I did make a considerable effort. I called her today too. I've been talking to the wildlife rehabbers. And they told me there was nothing they would do. They're like, it is just a pigeon, and the pigeon has had that broken wing for a long time. It's not going to heal right, so there's nothing, we can't do much. They said that in some rare cases, pigeons will naturally heal over the winter while they're hibernating and then be able to fly again, but that's a ways away. And they said there's pretty much no enclosure I would have been able to build that could keep out the animals. They said the bird net could keep hawks away. But if it's not wire fence, like really strong wire fence, and I'd have to dig under it and dig pretty deep and put something to block things from digging under. And then I'd have to use a specific type of bolt and a specific type of framing, which is really expensive. and that keeps all the animals out. They said it's pretty expensive, and wildlife rehabbers don't get much grant money to do those things, so a lot of their animals end up dead anyway, and they just risk it because they can't afford to give them what they need, but they try their best. But she was telling me all these horror stories of other rehabbers in the state that keep losing their animals to foxes. Like one lady had a nice enclosure, but the hinges were just a little bit worn, like she didn't replace it every year. So when after winter there was a little bit of like damage on the hinge, and a fox just she said for an hour straight, it just didn't stop, and it just yanked at it for an hour until it broke, and then it ran in and killed all the animals. So that sucks. I didn't have all messages on. Heather's cousin-in-law is a millionaire, and he's also a pastor. So I was really mad because I was like, Heather could have called him and told him. Heather could have asked Brian, like, you think the pastor would talk to Casey? He's kind of living a really cool life that the pastor might be interested in. And if he's a multimillionaire, maybe he would have helped. But maybe I can meet him at some point. I don't know. I just figured a multimillionaire pastor would really like this story and how I ended up here. And I have so many goals in my life, and I don't have a lot of time. Like, my personal thing, I think Uranus moving from Taurus to Gemini is changing a lot of stuff. We can all feel it. Things are changing because Uranus deals with the collective consciousness itself. The collective consciousness itself has moved from Taurus, which is slow-moving, grounded, stubborn, more embodying ancient wisdom and growing from it. So we were all producing songs and producing things, and we were living like characters in a TV show. Now it's moving into Gemini, which is communication and Mercury. So the collective consciousness, it's going to be chaos. It's going to be much different to have Uranus and Gemini. Everything's going to be more active. Information is going to travel a lot faster. Social media is going to get completely revamped in the next few years. Everything's going to change with Uranus and Gemini. Uranus moving from Taurus, like Uranus and Taurus means that all of our technological innovations will be grounded and slow moving and a lot of time put into it. Uranus and Gemini means that innovation will be extremely chaotic and just anywhere, and all of us will be affected by it. Technology is just going to improve at random everywhere. It's going to completely change everything. So I was like, I mean, if you look back at the Casey story, it is pretty cool that I went from, because Uranus entered Taurus when I got the brain injury. So I went from the brain injury and being homeless in a shelter, unable to move, and I ended Uranus and Taurus at the top of a mountain. You know, the whole homeless journey, all the problems are now solved. I'm no longer worried about people coming up here and killing me. I'm no longer worried about police brutalities. I no longer have to deal with toxic family members and family relationships. They're all cut off and withered away and died. Fuck them. It's just one last thing is just getting all my stuff out of their stuff so I can relieve them of the burden of holding my things. Because my aunt used to kind of subtly hold that over my head, that she had my stuff in the basement, and if I didn't, you know, it's just fucked up people in Section 8 that don't take care of themselves. They just grow out of control, and they don't really have a way to come back. So they let go, and then they just become whatever. And then in that, they sort of find some good, but usually it just puts them at risk of becoming psychotic all the time. Like my parents are either like, I think like if you put their week out on like a map, I'd say they were like functioning, sane human beings, like for a little tiny amount of time in that week, and the rest are delusional narcissistic psychosis. Can't see the solutions to their life, stuck in endless cycles, and they take it out on everybody. Like, my aunt is dying of eating too much, and the cure for dying from eating too much is to lose the weight by not eating, changing your diet, and investing in a treadmill. Instead, she just continues. So now she needs to have Gatorades. And she waddled around, stomping around the house once, and saw that I had drank one of her Gatorades. And she had like 24 of them. So she got really mad. I saw her bottle it up and turn into this dark creature. And then she went, and I was like, yeah. Because I didn't know she needed the electrolytes. I didn't know. I just saw Gatorade, and I was like, do you mind if I have the Gatorade? And I was like, no, I don't care. So I had a Gatorade, you know? That's what I'm talking about. Could just buy her, and I could have bought her like 50 Gatorades if she just asked. Instead, I bought her a treadmill, and I brought her the treadmill, and she wouldn't let me bring it into the house. I was like, this is what's going to give you enough time to spend time with your grandchildren. All you want in life is to be around your grandchildren, right? This is exactly what you need. I worked hard. I thought about it for months. I researched. I thought about everything. And I had a book with everything that she would need to do to fix it. And then I went out and got those things for her. And I did that for my cousin. I did that for John Michael. I did that for my dad. I did that for my mom. I methodically found the solution to every single one of their problems in the most perfect way that doesn't intrude on their life any more than just giving them a gift. And I tried to bring them that gift, and half of them tried to have me killed. My dad tried to kill me. My mom lied to have me killed. And then she held it over my head for years, that she would do it anytime she felt like it. And my aunt and her would relish in that, and they would just gossip about me all the time. To the point where my cousin was messaging me saying, you were right, I can't believe it. I hate it here, and I hate what they're doing to you. And then the next day it would be like a demon had taken over him, and he was exactly like them, like something had took him over in the night. And I was like, my family's got a generational demon or something. That's the only thing I can think of. Because it seems like they love hurting themselves, and they love showing me that they're hurting themselves. And when they do it, it looks like it's the same thing. The way that their body moves, and the way that they stare at me too long, and then they self-sabotage. It's the same exact way that I feel compelled to hit my vape right now. But theirs is much darker, like much more violent and vicious, like real narcissistic, you know. And it just seems like The Last of Us, where it's like a mushroom thing that takes over the host and makes the zombies sit in a dark place so the mushrooms can grow and spread. That's what Section 8 kind of feels like to me. Is like people are just sitting in there festering their mental illness, and then it's like creating an energy that spreads through the communities. I'm not saying people in Section 8 are bad. I'm saying the foundation that they built upon this whole system of living is wrong. They should be making it more where it promotes fasting, sunlight, exercise, working with your hands with nature and farms. But instead they had them cooped up in like sardines with food stamps that can really, like, if I try to eat healthy, I make it halfway through the month, and then I'm out of food stamps. If I eat nothing but junk food, I can make it to the end of the month, and I get more fat, and I get mad at myself, and my brain doesn't work as well because it's full of junk. Chips are like eating paint. Chips have like paint thinner and shit in them that actually, it's almost like that Walmart that is literally, the logo is literally the Star of David. It's almost like the things that they sell in there are to promote making you goyim to work, and that's it, and not be able to think. That's what it seems like to me. Have you ever heard of ayahuasca? I produce more DMT than normal people. I think it was because the umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck at birth, but also I lived in complete isolation on a mountaintop with a room full of Legos. I didn't really have any stimuli to differentiate between the dream realm and this realm, so I would wake up from my dreams unchallenged. So I was able to live in spirit more so than most people, and then that stuck formatively. So I lived as like a super empath, super maladaptive daydreamer, and I was a fighter, so I would rise to like perfection. And I just tried my best. But it seemed like the whole world has always been against me, like just unnecessarily cartoonish stuff, roadblocking me the entire time. People trying to take advantage of me all the time. People that like, I would just stand in a room and I could see everybody getting bitter and angry and jealous, and then they would target me. And I'm just standing there, hanging out with people. But then all of a sudden it's like I naturally would just strive for greatness, and that would give me a higher vibration. Somebody, was one of you in the chat telling me about the drones? To look for random drones that pretend to be stars? Because we have one now. Right where I was looking. And you can see that I can zoom in on that, but not other stars because it's not a star. Like you can't, only that one because it's bright. There's a lot more stars. And those things will change direction at random. They'll go very fast and really slow. And I can feel, like, a lot of times I can feel them like bring a connection to me, and then they'll change direction to circle around me and go back off in that direction. And I usually see them floating above towns. Like, it's rare to have one this far out of town. Usually there's like a bunch, like hundreds of them that will fly around cities, like Burlington, and it just disappeared completely. I stared directly at it and tried to connect to it with my mind, and it just completely disappeared. Like, look. It turned, whatever it was, it turned its light off. Like, that's just, you can see that one's not, that one doesn't move because that's a star. It's just completely gone. It disappeared. I tried to connect to it spiritually, and I felt the connection. It was a dark connection, but I felt the connection, and then it disappeared. It turned its light off. So it just showed itself where I was looking, you know? I've been staring. Can you hear that? Sounds like 20 dogs with their tails tied together screaming. So you saw me raise my head to bring my energy back, because I was like, when I looked over there, I set them off. So I just call my energy back, and they stop. I just took my power back from the coyotes trying to steal it, the way that I learned how to take it back from the crows. So I guess I got too much power, and then I shoot it out, and then that pisses everything off. So things try to keep me from feeling free because of, I can do that 33 life path type shit. Like, bam, and then all of a sudden the Catholic Church has no power over harvesting people's emotions. If they didn't keep me corralled in a cage, suffering with spell work, I could look across that's about 10 miles that way, over this massive lake, and accidentally set off coyotes, and then just pull my energy back spiritually back onto my crown, and then put my crown back on, and then they shut up. And then I just cement it, and then I forget about it. But the crows are a lot harder to fight back against. They're very smart, and I think that there's some type of greater intelligence controlling them. Because they do a lot of different stuff. Like, they catch me off guard every morning. I try to go as long as I can. I spend all night meditating, holding on to it. I found there is a way that I can do it, but it involves having a real relationship with them where I become a kind of a crow myself, to be honest. Like if I let them dig into me long enough and I hold on to what they did to me, like a grudge, and then I slowly work through that grudge and gain understanding, then I become a crow spiritually. Like their codes kind of take over mine, I guess, or it amplifies that and I become like this big bird. And then the little birds hate me. And if I can individuate further with the 8th house, Scorpio, Venus, all that energy, I can kind of transmute myself back into confidence and control with a greater darker boundary. And then I go off on a quest, kind of like a journey, and I make music, and then I don't know if undulate's the right word, but just the undercurrent of that passion can push me forward into being more of like a full character. And then usually I can't go into like a gas station without everybody twitching and staring at me and stomping on the ground to get in my way, following me to the gas station, getting pulled over. You saw me get pulled over 8 times in one night. My family going crazy and talking shit on social media. What the fuck does it matter if Jesus died if he rose again 3 days later? That doesn't make any sense to me. He also knew it was going to happen. So the suffering, yeah, it hurt, but also, it just seems kind of weird to me. Unless you're trying to say that you transform your character into Jesus and you let him live inside you, and then you just keep imagining the death and rebirth as like a cycle for your karmic laundry, then you would be consistently telling a story that would kill all the energy in the room and as like a sacrifice. And then you say, he died for us, as if he is the sacrifice. And then you say, he is the sacrifice. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You're doing a pagan ritual with the idea of somebody in the age of Pisces to manipulate belief systems into one singular entity that you kill, killing their hopes and dreams. The same way that in Baal worship, you put the presents under the tree and the children's hopes and dreams are forced by Saturn into reality of what you actually got instead of the infinite potential of your dreams. And then the extras that's stripped off or harvested from those children's hopes and dreams, when they find the reality of what they got versus everything that they hoped for, that goes into the dead tree of Baal, or the dead Jesus that rose again, or you gave Baal life. But also, I mean, I know the Knights Templar that founded Freemasonry was trying to dig under Solomon's Temple to find the Well of Souls to manipulate spiritual current or currency. Well of Souls like water or currency, and how it goes through banks because they trust in God or they manipulate soul energy and harvest life through banks like a river with currency from the Well of Souls. And that stuff is Christian, but it seems like there was a big movement to sort of emulate the previous worship of Moloch Baal, and channel it into something that's benevolent and good, and they did make it a considerable effort. I do believe that there's more, I mean, something wants to tell me Jesus is bullshit, but something also says that Jesus is like code that lets you connect to Christ consciousness, like in the age of Pisces with spell work and belief systems fighting against each other in the dark waters as you swim towards the truth. Before Aquarius or Revelations or the trumpets, and we reach a higher vibration, or Sheol and paradise and heaven and hell all mix into one, where our spiritual bodies and our physical bodies completely intertwine, and more so than feeling separate from ourselves in time, and then we can actually meet God. Like the old stuff says, I don't know. Like I want to say that Jesus is a perfect representation of creation, so it's more likely than not that he did die, and he did live those lives, and he did do those things because God does like to show off, and he does work in the beauty of simplicity. So that would be the perfect thing in the age of Pisces, to come down in the flesh into human form and live a sinless life as example to refresh the collective consciousness. And then when he goes back, then he just works for outside of the game as a developer to continue the story. Like that's what I would do. I haven't read the Bible either, so I'm gonna read the whole thing. I watched like I listened to a lot of Jesus teachings, and I know the Galilee story and how he gathered the apostles and then he fought the serpent and the cast the demons out, and then he turned water into wine and all that other stuff, and then went, I think he was captured, and then he was taken into that place where he was killed by Romans. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I guess the Roman Empire had extended all the way up into Israel, because where they say Jesus was hung on the cross was in Israel, yet it says that he was taken by Roman soldiers to a bigger city to be put on the cross. So I would assume that they would bring him closer to Rome, but maybe they wanted to make an example out of him because they had a colony out there. That would make sense to me. I think that because there are many gods created in the eyes of humans since the beginning, Jesus is the only way to one true God, the actual creator. Satan referred to as the God of this world. Without Jesus, humans have the potential to follow the God of this world who rapes and kills babies, and that's it. You shall have no gods before me means that everything was created by God, and he wants to be the prime connection so that you don't get lost in, let's say, like this giant glowing cross here, and then imagine that on this trail network back to the bottom of the hill, you had to pass through gateways with different entities' heads on them. He's saying, I don't want you to have to find me through all these different other gates. I want you to be able to come to me directly instead of through all these filters. I don't know what the guy on Tucker Carlson said is that he went to a place where I one of those towns where they treated me crazy, like really, they were really crazy to me. Like that was, how many of you guys were there in the Long Lake video when those old ladies were just screaming at me for no reason? Just like huddled in the doorway like a Renaissance painting about people possessed by demons and screaming at Jesus. That's literally how it looked. It looked like a depiction of those Renaissance paintings. I'm not saying I'm Jesus. I'm saying that's what it looked like. Like I'm standing there like this, just like something. Why do you see me as the enemy? And they're like, that's how literally how they looked. I have it on video. That's how they looked. Like an old Renaissance painting. That town was where they had a Satanist Freemason, or a Satanist researching Freemason. I don't know what path he chose. He says he's Christian. But he said that he went with another Mason to that town, and there used to be a place in that town where lots of Satanist activity for the past 100 years. And they went in there and they said while they were doing their cleansing rituals to purify the space, they heard exactly like that weird coyote noise over there. And they heard like cackling and laughing in the woods around the building. They said the walls were screaming. And just a lot of crazy stuff. And then they said after they purified it, it felt like that stuff went away. And then like the next week, that house burned down. And I've seen enough stuff in my life to think that there's some truth to that. I don't think that, I mean, it's hard to tell. Knowing that will affect tens of millions of people, that video, there's a good chance that he wasn't completely honest about what was going on. Like he said that he would keep getting cell phone calls from people that were doing Baal worship and saying, I want your soul, I want your soul. And he said that they kept calling his cell phone. I know that what he really meant was that, like when I sit out in the woods here and all of a sudden there are things trying to communicate with me spiritually, I think that he just said cell phone so that he didn't have to explain electromagnetic connection and that you raise above outside of groupthink hive mind to transcend into the world outside Freemasonic control, to be able to have spiritual telepathy and connection with everything because we are all connected. Like, I think it was easier to digest for the boomers that watch Tucker Carlson to just say that they called me on my cell phone, because that's how they used to tell horror stories back in the day and stuff. They, try telling a boomer that isn't spiritual about connection to entities, because this isn't real and our souls are much bigger than this tiny little ant farm that we're inside. They wouldn't believe it. They'd be like, that's a load of hogwash. But if he says, they called me on my phone, not that You know, when my friend Phoenix got drugged and dumped out of a window, and then he was dying on the ground after they chucked him out a window. Right after he told me the story about how much he loved the stories about Irish giants as a kid, and then supposedly two on either side of the street, according to Schemy, Slimy, Smelly Ethan, but I believe him because he'd have no reason to say that, and he didn't know that I knew that Phoenix had privately told me about his love for giant lore. Schemy, Slimy, Smelly Ethan tells me that he was just in the area and then saw him there, and then two people that were like looking Irish white dudes with the longer noses and the pointy ears were on either side of the street, and they helped all three of them together carry Phoenix up this hillside to the UVM hospital, which is at the top of the mountain there. So Phoenix died on the ground, and they had to carry him up to where he was saved. But before that, like the night before, or like a week before I gave up on him because he wouldn't stop smoking meth, I went with him to that trap house just to sit with him and see what it was like and give him a chance to come with me to the skate park. And then I looked over in the middle of the night, and then in the hallway at the top floor of this abandoned school, this like 6-story abandoned school downtown, on the top floor I looked over and I felt this weird energy like coming towards me. But there was just something there, and then I saw a ring of fire like Doctor Strange, and then a woman's face peered out and she was crying. And then she, whoosh, gone. And then I tried to tell these people that, but then I look at them and they're soulless, empty, and it's just dark energy puppeting all of them. So I'm like, I'm leaving. Bye. And I just walk back through and leave. And then they drugged Phoenix and dumped him out a window. But I told him that I pointed to the window and I said, I will be waiting by the food co-op right there all night. If you're not here by the morning, I'm done with you, bro. You have all night to come over here and come with me, and we can go down to the waterfront. And I'll take you in. And I'll save your life. If this is what you choose and you want to stay here, when the morning comes, if you're not there, I'm not talking to you ever again. And he didn't show up, and I was just laying, and it was freezing cold. It was like March, I think, and I woke up to some sniveling liberal going, "What's that bat for? You playing a lot of baseball?" And I went, "You didn't have to fucking touch me." Like, I got up and got in his face. I said, "You didn't have to fucking touch me. You could have just said, 'Hey man, it's time to go.' Or you could have not said anything and I would have got up and left on my own. I'm waiting here because there's a kid dying in a trap house, and my last chance to help him, I said, if you come here to meet me, I will save you, but I'm not going to go up there and fight for you anymore." And then I felt like the ancient soul in me. I felt like my Irish warrior ancestors were like, "And I bet you fucking liked touching me, didn't you?" And then I walked away with a bat and a machete at my side, in a fucking bomber jacket embroidered with birds right to left and left to right. Floral embroidery, but it looks nice in my black and gold Timbs. And then I walked down to my swamp and fell asleep in the freezing cold, and then got sick. I like listening to a Canadian UFO with Paul Hellyer. How long have you been trans? You have a good doctor. Hold on, I got this. Lonely inbred cave monkeys institutionalized by Freemasons to harvest their sexual energy, like being good goyim and subjecting themselves to the destruction of their self, and they coalesce into darkness, addicted to ego gratification and the same stimulation of your brain that heroin gives you through social media, and slowly contort into just kind of nipping at anything that they can for attention because they get none in their daily life, and it bleeds into their daily life, and everyone that loves them has given up on them, and they see them more as a spineless retard playing pretend. And really, it's just the life that you provide for them, Stockholm Syndrome or obligation because you're related to them or something that keeps them around, but they've all checked out from their relationship to you, and they might play some games with you, but for the most part, the people that you're sitting next to don't give a rat's ass about you, man. I'm sorry. And I think you know that, which is why you're on the internet doing this. Great men go out and do shit. I'm out here doing shit. Your job is not really doing shit. You didn't come here to be a wage slave, man. A good goyim. Jesus dies 2,000 years ago. Man has created many idols, gods from the beginning since the Garden of Eden, so Jesus wouldn't have gave his life. I just think that it's been 2,000 years. We weren't around 2,000 years ago. I don't know what the world was like 2,000 years ago. I know that the story of Jesus has changed tremendously since it was created. The first example I want to say is that Jesus never took demons out of a guy and put them in pigs. Jesus made a guy do a parasite cleanse and removed a tapeworm and showed that pigs are full of parasites. Then it became that Jesus cast demons out of pigs or out of a man and put it in pigs. Before it was about a parasite cleanse and that the guy was possessed by parasites. There's also the older texts talk about Jesus having a wife and kids at one point, named Sophia, right? Jesus had a wife named Sophia and had kids. And I mean, God was telling me kind of at one point in time, I just kept getting spammed the idea that, Jesus liked to be, that God has a sense of humor. So if God came in the flesh, Jesus would be funny and he would be pulling pranks all the time to show people that it's not as big a big deal as you guys are making it out to be. So the idea that Jesus is a magician that does tricks, and then he knows how he's going to die. He knows he's going to be betrayed. But people don't entertain the idea that Jesus had people go under the tomb and put like all the famous musicians do, where you think that they've died and then it turns out they crawled through a tunnel into like a box underneath the coffin and crawled out. Like there's a good chance that Jesus was just playing tricks on people. But I don't know. I don't know why they took the wife out of Jesus' story. He used to have a wife and kids. At one point, he had a wife and kids. He also, didn't he disappear for 10 years and nobody knew where he went? But then if you look at, and then with Christianity being so popular, I have no idea if the mystery schools, like lots of cultures around those areas have stories of Jesus visiting. And that's just as real as the people who wrote in the book and said, yeah, he was here. They have other people that wrote in books, yeah, he was here. Learning from mystery schools that were around at the time, like Tibet and Asia and Egypt and I think it was somewhere in Africa they have mystery schools. Those people also said, yeah, Jesus came here too. That were around the same, like actually before some of the testimonies of the disciples. Like during that break period where he was gone. Why would God need to learn from schools? Unless it's like the Avatar, where you have a spiritual connection, but you don't and you have the wisdom, but you don't necessarily activate it all the time. I don't know. The Bible doesn't have an account from Jesus from age 12 to age 30. I'd have to look into it. I don't know. But I have heard that people say that there are a lot of other reputable sources that say that Jesus, while he was gone, traveled around much further than the Bible says he was traveling around. Like he went to faraway places. And just something kept showing me last year. Maybe it was 2020, like winter 2025. or like fall of 2025, it just kept showing me that Jesus most likely, you gave the gift of life. Why? And you only needed him till age 33 to fulfill the prophecy and do everything and be the example for the world. But you're going to live till like 40 or 60 at least. You've got potentially another half, like that could have been just half your life. Why not just, if you know your God, why not just go out and do other stuff and give yourself a different name and nobody would know? Like after he died and rose again, that's the thing. How did he get back to heaven? Does the Bible say, because we know that after he rose from the dead, he was, for like another 40 days at least, he was walking around doing stuff, being like, haha, I lived. And then they say he went to heaven. He went back up to heaven afterwards. Does it say how he went back up to heaven? Was the Silk Road 2,000 years ago? I thought the Silk Road was like the spice trade in medieval times. Like I know around 1000 AD, Vikings started stealing the Irish, who were a breakaway Israelite culture that mixed with Celts and dark-skinned people on the island. And then Vikings came down from the Caucasus caves and would steal them and breed with them, like rape them for better genetics in their kids, making better Vikings off very tall, which would be like 5'5" would be considered tall back in the day. So 5'5" women, and then a 6 foot tall person was considered a giant back then. Taking them to breed for Vikings, and then when they would get rid of them, they would take them back, which that makes sense why the Persians in Israel and all the people of that place were so interested in buying Irish slaves, because they knew that the Irish were the true Israelites. That's why they were so valuable, why they wanted them as sex slaves. And I thought the Silk Road came after that, and that's when that's why India started getting green eyes from the Irish, and the descendants of that with the Middle East, and then the Silk Road of Irish people saying, fuck this, and then leaving, and they would go across Europe and then go down to Africa and then take mutiny pirate boats and go down to South America. And then slavery brought them down to the Caribbean and Haiti again. And then the crackers were people that would say, fuck you to the English, and they would go off and build Kentucky and Nebraska and West Virginia and all those places, because they would leave Virginia, and the English would write back, we got a bunch of crackers. I thought the Silk Road was in between Vikings and American slavery. But I know that India was really influenced by Irish culture somehow, genetically and musically and spiritually. They sort of blended together a lot. It's also really cool that Susie just shared with me a video of somebody hooking up electrodes, whatever, to trees and plants and playing them, and it would manipulate synths to play songs. And the songs that the trees make, it would be like the trees would emit a note, and then seconds later a bird far away would play the same note, almost like the tree was picking up on the energy before the bird was inspired to call. The same way that if I'm here, I often feel like there's a lot of things coming to give me ideas, and the crows try to stop those, whatever that force is, from giving me ideas. It's almost like the electrodes could pick up the energy before the birds sang it, or the birds also picked up the energy at the same time. It's a European as a race already came from the Caucasian Mountains somewhere in the Middle East, so that movement from Asia to Europe already existed for thousands of years, but maybe not trade yet. Irish people, they have a different genetic branch than Europeans. That's the question there. some were Celts, but a lot were some type of middle ground, like a breakaway African culture, because the original inhabitants were dark skinned, but they had blue eyes, and then the Irish blended with them, which gave them the melanated freckles. And we're not sure where Irish came from, but if you look at ancient stuff, Scotta, who founded Scotland, her throne is completely Egyptian, and she's depicted as an Egyptian pharaoh, like Cleopatra. So the founder of Scotland was an Egyptian pharaoh at one point. So I'm assuming they were black or Middle Eastern. And English is Celt completely. So English would be cave monkeys. Norway would be cave monkeys. Switzerland would be cave monkeys. Italy would be a mix. Greece would be a mix. The Slavic people would be a mix. When you go further up into Russia, those are cave monkeys. And then you get another mix when you get to the Middle East of Africans and cave monkeys. But also, back in the day, they depicted Asians there too. People that look like Native Americans that wear the feathers and the turquoise necklaces and the tight dresses, and they're not dummy thick like Africans. They were there in the pyramids as well. They don't have white people in the pyramids, but they have Native Americans in the pyramids. And it does show in DNA results that a lot of Native Americans in the Plains tribes carry DNA that's been present in the country for 200,000 years. And then Siberia came over 20,000 years ago. So something happened there. Some Native people say, yeah, we kind of took them from black people. There were black people here, which would make sense how they got the red skin tone, because there were already people here, because they would be close to the equator in Mexico. So they should have, if they were already here, they would be darker skinned, but there's a lot of trees down there too. So they wouldn't have as dark skin as if they were out in the desert. Hair gel with pine cones from Lebanon. Yeah, I think history's wrong. Like, they're not telling us what really happened. So there's really no way to know. Vatican. When they show us whatever's in the Vatican, I bet it wouldn't be that expensive to rent a porta potty for until November. If I can get a job, I could put my first week, I could invest in bringing a porta potty up here, and then I no longer have to shit in the woods. I don't know, what some spirit told me in the woods was that Jesus, if he already knew that his death was going to happen, there's no saying he didn't have his disciples and all the people following him install a fake floor or dig out a tunnel underneath and seal it up as they left, and then have the guards put up a dead body of somebody, because they said that Jesus kind of just looked like everybody else back in the day. All the people that were kind of normal there, so they wouldn't really know what was him and what wasn't, especially after they disfigured him so much. They could have just strung up somebody else and then gone through the tunnel. And then what I saw is him going to Ireland. Like, I really saw, they showed, like, it just kept being shown to me every night, was that afterwards it was like he was only needed for 33 years. He set off and did other stuff that was not important to the story. But it just depends on what the Bible says about, like, the older, like the earliest testimonies of people and what they said about how exactly he went up to heaven. If it literally says that a light opened in the sky and he floated up into the sky and then disappeared, then I would think it was aliens. Then I would think that Jesus was an alien. He was a hybrid or something. Did you know the Native Americans in Central and South America also share DNA with Oceania, Australian Aboriginals, Tahiti, and Hawaii? Hundreds of people witnessed it. It would have been publicly executed because that's what Romans do. Yeah, and they would have made a show of it. Jesus was a hybrid, fully God, fully man. I'll ask for a shooting star. Was Jesus real? Did he live on earth? And was he God in the flesh? Right to left. Please. I heard kind of. I heard kind of, and it was coming from the moon. And now I'm seeing cross hatching. Like grid work. I'm seeing energies in grid work and stuff. Which is probably Wi-Fi signals and information. Oh, no, that was a bug. I thought I saw a shooting star, but it was the light reflecting off a bug. But the bug did fly to where I point. Oh, that was a UFO. Or that was information, and I have a bigger aura than I think, and that was something reflecting off in the communication spiritually, but that was right to left. But now 2 planes have appeared out of nowhere. One of them was going and then it just stopped. And now there's one over here that's going left to right. Completely changed course. It's going pretty fast. There's no airports here. I never see planes ever. Is that it? Without believing Jesus, there's no connection with God. Why? I don't know. I'm being shown a fucking that somebody had kept a homunculus. Oh, another fake star is here. Oh, it disappeared when I tried to record it. There is just a fake star that's been circling around me. And when I was over there, it was going around, and then when I moved over here, it moved over right in front of me. So it probably is something. Yep, and now the bird's triggered. You hear that bird speaking in code? Straight ahead, right where I was pointing. When I was about to say that it's probably that we're very tiny in like an ant farm. Hear all the birds going off now? All the birds in the area are going off right now. There's 5 of them, all surrounding me. And they all went off at once together. as I'm talking about that we're being surveilled by higher dimensional intelligences in like an ant farm reality TV show. And we're all living in our delusional age of Pisces, independent beliefs and narratives and stories. And they're just watching it happen. The watchers from the Book of Enoch. And the birds are messengers, so they were just speaking in code. And the birds all surrounded me and they all just went off at once. And then I feel this heavy pressure on my consciousness trying to keep me from being free. Trying to like press against the side of my head and keep me down and trapped in the dullness in my ear, which is always around and probably always influencing me, but I wasn't aware of it until the birds just went off, and it really wants me to hit this vape. So I decided that after I'm done with this vape, I'm done with vaping. And when I have my freak out moments that I would usually quell with the vape, I'm just going to hold it all in. Now I have to pee because I felt an electric jolt come from downtown like a light tentacle and smack my stomach, and now I have to pee, which they say is an attack on your sacral chakra and root chakra, which is what my tarot reader said. My tarot reader, the tarot reader that I watch every day, literally said, I'm sick and tired of the King of Cups coming up in every single reading I do every single day. I love your energy. You're emotionally grounded and stable, and you're doing a lot, but you come through every single day, King of Cups, which is Casey. I'm going to set you up with a view. The church that I go to say that praying to Mary is bad, because the Catholics that pray to Mary is just like the first commandment of the Bible, you shall have no other gods before me. I'm going to piss real quick. Bug on the window, bug on the screen. That was really cool with the birds. Savannah, nobody see Baba. I just peed. Adam failed Eve. Jesus will not fail his bride. Conductor entered the chat with is that a lion profile picture? Says, I think you believe in the Bible story way too much and you are taking it way too seriously. All this stuff without realizing it's all metaphorical and not factual. I don't know what Demon Hunter's purpose in life is. Demon Hunter's helping me a lot. Demon Hunter goes out and does Walmart Spark delivery to help me with things that I need for this property. And I really appreciate that. It saved my life. Demon Hunter also... it's a weird thing. I'm still mad at Heather a little bit because Heather just casually tells me that her cousin-in-law is a multi-millionaire and loves God. And Demon Hunter also says that the Casey story has kind of bled into her life, where even her husband is driving around in a car with his own company that he made, and the initials of his company, he doesn't even know about the Casey story, and he named it, the initials are KC, so he drives around in a truck with KC on the side. So I believe it when Demon Hunter tells me that the Casey story is kind of there too, the same way it is here, where I just randomly walk into a church and then Dan takes me to Gary, and Dan tells me he has a bunch of pigeons. And then I come here and ask the pigeon, and then the pigeon goes missing. The day I'm supposed to take him, the pigeon is gone. But I do want to hear more about. Oh, okay, big shooting star. Big, huge shooting star right to where I pointed before when I asked about exactly where I pointed asking for a shooting star earlier, right to left, when I asked if Jesus was the Son of God. It was directly where I pointed. I don't know if there was like an energetic change, but I did just get a massive shooting star. Huge. And it was right, exact like the angle that I put my hand. When I waved my hand to be like, can I get a shooting star this way, right to left? It followed my exact trail of my hand. So I don't know if that's a UFO or what. I don't know what that is, but I just got another one live that I asked for a shooting star exactly and I got it. I wish that I hadn't turned my camera over and put the flashlight on, because you would have seen it. But it is what it is. You guys can get it for yourself. All you have to do is sit here, release the outcome so you don't expect anything, and sit here humbly and just ask it a single question and wait. And usually, like Heather has said that one time she asked, and then a bird flew over her head in the middle of the night, which caused her to look where the bird went, and then where the bird went, the shooting star came. So I definitely see that stuff. I think that there's something about Jesus that something's not fitting right for me yet. Like, to me, it seems like they're allowing a spirit to possess them the same way. And I do sit and beg God for help all the time. Like, I get it. But then it seems like there's something much greater than that story around. Like, God is much bigger than what the Bible makes it out to be. There's a much bigger thing out there that we haven't yet understood. And I think that Jesus was just to help us swim through the age of Pisces, and we're about to figure out what that bigger thing is. The bigger thing doesn't seem like light. Jesus seems like light to me, like the Holy Spirit seems like light. There's something that's dark, and not dark in an evil way, but it's just darkness. Like, in order for God to say, let there be light, God would have to be in the darkness. And that's what a lot of like cults say, is that God is darkness. It lives in the dark. Embrace the dark. But it does seem like there is a darker thing that isn't evil, that's much greater than what I can comprehend. So I think that the Jesus story and all that was just meeting us where we're at while we transcend to be able to comprehend and perceive a higher level of information about the infinite as we ascend into higher learning as a civilization. Which is why it feels like I'm condensing myself and losing a lot of myself when I conform too much to the story of Jesus. Or like what the Bible says. It feels like it destroys me too much, and I can't do what I'm trying to do. That there's a certain way that I have to learn it, and that's what I'm looking for. But I'm not saying that it's not true, because I literally asked the universe for a shooting star in this direction. I'll show you with the light. Literally, I pointed and went, can I get a shooting star like this? And then it went literally really bright. And I did just ask if Jesus was the Son of God, and he was God. I don't remember exactly what I asked, but I got confirmation for that. And then I just saw a UFO, but it is what it is. Oh God, I never fucking judged you. You judged me immediately. Fuck you, conductor. Fuck you, conductor. Conductor 4147, which is 11. 5 and 11 is 16. Conductor, do you want a life path reading? I'll do a life path reading on somebody. Just post your birthday and I'll do a reading on somebody. They get scary accurate too. Like I was able to guess somebody's wife's birthday at a church the other day. When I go into church, was it yesterday was Sunday? Yesterday, 2 people came up to me and said that God showed them I have a huge anointing in my life and I'm extremely special. But they said there's also a lot of work that I need to do. And there's my right to left moth. There's also a lot of work I need to do. And I said, I think I'm just being taken up slowly so that I experience all of it and all the different levels before I get up there. Like I went from on the ground in the gutter with brain injury, wandering around for years and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. And now I'm here, and I have millionaires that are just down the road, but nobody's helping. Even though I have all this great stuff I could do, and I don't understand why nobody will help. So I'm doing it all myself, and they're all watching, and nobody's helping. And that's always been the case, except Demon Hunter. Can I share a take that may be crazy, but I just need somebody here? Sure, man. So, August 19th, 1987. You went backwards. So, 1 and 9 is 10, 18, 25, 26, 35, 43, 7 life path. Born on the 19th. Bunny Boy, that's a big thing. Stick around and I will answer it very quickly. Let's do conductors. 8 and 9. 9 and 9 is 18. 25. 33. 42 and 1 is 42. You are a 7 life path born on the 19th. You're a Leo Virgo cusp. 7 life path born on the 19th. If you look back through your life, you'll see that you were meticulously sort of infiltrating and innovating intellectual systems. If you look back at your life from start to finish, people would say that you had some type of autistic level of genius intellect that you tried to apply to things, and that would be the main thing of your life, was just higher learning. People said that you probably had a lot of unlucky stuff happen. They say that 7 life paths are the unluckiest, whereas 33s are the most attacked. But 7 life paths is just bad luck. You know, the 19th adds up to the 2, which is the that you experienced life. 1, I would say that your experience of life is more emotionally vivid, so you experience life with more complex emotions. Instead of it being just completely receiving, though, you do have a driving force with childlike energy that allows that momentum of your greater experience of emotion. To that, putting it in with that complex, greater emotions and experience of life into the intellectualism and the Virgo Leo cusp means that you do put off an arrogant persona, but that has moved more into the sentimental transcendence of self. So you do have a tendency to, even though it's not what you are on the inside, you play a character and try to promote the influence of that character. But you are just at the cusp where you're leaving Leo season into Virgo season, which brings that deep darkness in that red and adds, instead, sort of like if you were to put a thing of water and add color dye, it's already red and black, but you're interjecting this sentimental yellowish and more meticulous use of your mind, which helps. So you have this energy of being able to meticulously work on things and improve things and do all this, but you haven't fully gotten there. You're still just in the middle between selfishness and arrogance, and that Leo-ness where you care about people, but you don't know how to care about people without yourself getting in the way. And then Virgo is not having that selfishness and just using the tools as it is. Sort of like Su Beifong from Legend of Korra would be a Virgo, and Ozai would be a Leo. If that makes sense. But you're born in 87. I don't know if Avatar really got into your life. I'd just say if you learned selflessness in your higher learning and then brought that back in a fun character that didn't have anything to do with imposing your will and yourself on others, where you just have an unshakable sense of self, you would be able to accurately implement your ideas and create better things and innovate systems. Your favorite colors, usually blue, yellowish green, and red, but like a brighter blue. Um, I want to say that the seven life path is giving you this feeling as if you're a star kind of floating above your head. You might have an Aquarius moon. Maybe. But that seven just kind of gives you a transcendental vibe. So that kind of makes sense why you came in here to nitpick somebody else's self, I guess. And because that's kind of what you're doing with yourself. You're in a struggle between that you have this grounded sense of knowledge and wisdom that you're trying to implement, but you struggle with momentum. So you tend to introspect a lot and kind of sit by yourself to think about greater things. And you do have the means to implement it, but yourself kind of gets in the way. You might be like designing clothes or something. It might be channeling into clothes. Chisel 77. Are you actually 7777? That's pretty cool. Conductor is a fire rabbit. That's cool. You're a cat. You're like me. Fire rabbit. That's cool. That's why I keep seeing this higher level of play, because cats had that intellect and rabbits had that fertility there. Rabbit and cat ears, they do have this this kind of top level of seeing things that sort of makes it like you're kind of maneuvering your way through life with this sort of like cunning, I guess, because you're right before the dragon, but you're more playful than the dragon. Is conductor even here still? Fire rabbit, that gives you the red. I would say you have to find balance between your higher level of thinking and where you naturally operate, which is like right at the top of your head, and your back there, your spine. Like you have to let you have to incorporate that feeling of floating above your head into the whole of your character, because you're strong, rigid character there, and you do take this dense level of emotion, like you have a density to the way that you experience your complex level of emotions, and you're able to bring it into yourself naturally, whereas other people mainly either completely are way off and just kind of amalgamated homunculus of energy, or nothing at all. They're completely disassociated. So you do have a good, meticulously crafted energetic body that allows you to work spiritually. Um, but you also don't open yourself up a lot. You don't open yourself up to a lot of things. You have a very stern, like, if it resonates in your that energy thing you've created of yourself, if it resonates the same way as that, it works. But there is a lot more out there that you're not experiencing because of this intrinsic focus into that energetic body. So what I say, and this doesn't really apply to you, what I say for most Virgos and Leos is that when you let go of all of that, you just let it go completely. You open yourself up to all the different perspectives that you weren't able to see prior. And then you can come back in with that meticulous focus and recraft it with a higher level of energy. But I think you might have already gone through that journey, and you like the way that this is. You like the way that it is. I would just say that now that you have it, definitely work out and work outside a lot. But just kind of take the time to ponder things outside of your consciousness. because you have the natural resonance there. Um, that spell work doesn't affect you as much because you have this kind of, unhealthy. They'd say you're narcissistic, but a grounded sense of self isn't a bad thing. You have a gift, bro. I'm here. I have it. All my signs are in Sagittarius and Aquarius, and my Sagittarius in the eighth house is just a tree constantly growing to the highest frequencies, and that's my Sun, Mercury, and Pluto. And my Moon, Mars, Neptune, and Uranus are all in Aquarius in the 10th house. So my name literally means a tree growing through extremely tough circumstances and just grows back pure. And then my moon would be exalted on a hill as a public figure with power, with the highest frequencies possible. Like my Jupiter is in Aries, the crown chakra, in the 12th house of Pisces. So that's my dreaming stuff is this really high vibrational stuff. And then it means that when I'm placed away alone is when I achieve the highest frequencies possible. And that I just live completely disassociated as like a being in a pocket dimension somewhere. And that's why I grew up on an abandoned ski resort on a mountain with a room full of Legos. And then I would go down the mountain into Section 8 with extremely mentally ill people. And that's just how my life reoccurs. Like I tried to kill myself. I tried to shoot myself down there because I had given up because I'd never find a mountain to call my own. And then I was just given this mountain the next day. And before that, I was on a different mountain. And then I would walk into town and got my brakes cut on my bike or twisted, and then I crashed. And then I had to be by the river during Leo season. And then I got back at the exact end of Leo season. Not the exact end of Leo season, sorry. On the 31st of August, on the 1st of September, I went back up and I was getting ready to leave after I performed my song and was around people that understood me and didn't think I was crazy or bad. They listened to what I have to say. People outside of my phone think that I'm completely nuts and that there's something really wrong with me until a week goes by. And then all the people that think I'm crazy tell me, holy shit, no, you were right. What the fuck? And I say, yeah, psychics tell me that my teaching and healing happens in my absence. So you'll never believe me while I'm here, but then the impact that I make stays, and then when I leave, you're given further proof because it has to do with your ego and your relation to me. So once I'm gone here and it's just what I've left behind with you, that's when you see it. Then it all makes sense. But when it's just like this, your ego gets in the way and there's this back and forth and drama, and that's why everybody's always trying to shit on me. But when I'm gone, then they get the holy shit. But that idea of my name means a tree incorruptible that grows bravely in battle. And then my last name means exalted on a hill in power, descended from giants who sacrificed themselves to save their people. And my middle name just means free, freedom, free to dance. So I'm an 11 day, born on the 11th, and I'm a 33 life path. So the 11 is the connection between the heaven, all different realities, like a receiver, like King's Cross Station, KC. And 33 is the divine child, the oldest soul possible that it comes in as a kid to give the world its teaching, and then it has the highest responsibility for the collective. And then if it fails, it starts over. If it passes, it transcends and becomes like an angel or something. I don't know what happens after, but the way that, if you look at Ari Aster and his films, like Midsummer, and the guy that cheats on the girl and then burns as the bear, and then the girl takes the soul and is reincarnated as the May Queen. Or if you look at Hereditary, where it was an ancient bloodline of Satanists that took an ancient crow. The thing that was in Hereditary that took over the family was an ancient crow, by the way, which is why in Paranormal Activity the footprints on the ground were birds, because they say that, I won't mention it, but they say that one of the big bads, and all the bird, when I said I won't mention it, the bird said thank you and chirped on my right side. I don't want to accidentally do any invocations, but or call, like I claim the blood of Jesus. I claim the Bible is the truth. I dispel any hindering influence. But yeah, an evil crow takes over the people in Hereditary because it was an ancient Masonic demonic cult. And then if you look at Bo is Afraid, Bo is a twin, and that's a big secret. So all over Bo, you see twin symbolism, or one and one beside each other. And Bo lives in room 303, where the first thing he eats when he goes into his apartment in a completely staged Truman Show is O apostrophe Loha, the best of Hawaii and Ireland, and Hawaii and Ireland are huge. Like I wrote that song Hawaii. My dad lived in Hawaii for 10 years. People come up to me and say that I feel Hawaiian to them and shit like that. Like that's just so. Bo is Afraid is a story where he tries to escape to go help his mommy, who's a controlling, abusive narcissist, that wants to sexually and spiritually be completely commingled with him, and that's pretty much what my mom is. But it turns out my mom has red hair, and claims that she's Jewish, and Monica Wasserman has red hair and is Jewish, and turns out that it was all a test, and Bo runs out into the street where everybody was a paid actor in the secret society for his 33 life path energy, to test him. And when he runs away and almost escapes, then he's hit by a car, and I tried to escape and I got in a car accident, and he was taken in by a Roger, a Nate, and a Tony, and I was taken in by a Roger, a Nate, and a Tony. And then Bo runs into the woods and meets angels and sees his purpose, and I ran into the woods and met angels and found my purpose. And then Bo goes back and kills his mom, and then he gets sacrificed in a ritual and has to restart as a child again. And I wish my mom would die. I'm not going to kill her, but I do sometimes wish that she would be punished for what she can't see that she did to me. But maybe that's all 33 life paths. I don't know, but it's just pretty specific. And I was at the 33rd annual Celtic Music Fest when I watched Bo is Afraid that night in a tent, and he went into room 303, and he was a twin, the 1133. And his name is Bo Wasserman, and he's a Taurus. Bo, Sagittarius, Wasserman, Waterman, or Aquarius, and he's a Taurus. I'm a Taurus rising. All my signs are Taurus, Sagittarius, and Aquarius. All of them, except what Taurus rising gives you, which is a Cancer IC, a Capricorn midheaven, and a Leo North Node, Venus and Scorpio, and Jupiter and Aries in the 12th house. Everything else, which could have been anything, happened to be Sagittarius, Taurus, and Aquarius. But giving me a Taurus rising had to have those other things. So I'm just a Sagittarius, Aquarius, Taurus. And Bo Waterman is a Taurus. And he lives in room 33. And he's a twin, so the number 11 and twin symbolism is everywhere throughout the movie. Not one scene doesn't have a twin symbolism of the 11. Of the information collected from higher realms constantly surrounding you, which adds to the paranoia that Bo eventually realizes his entire life was completely staged, and they had been programming him from a child to be emasculated so that he couldn't live freely when he activated his root chakra, or the Sagittarius in the 8th house and Venus in Scorpio. They took away his need for loyalty, which is what taught me, like, oh shit, that's my problems. And for it to be that big and that obvious. Also, Ari Aster, AA11. And Ari Aster means King of the Stars. And Casey O'Brien means the tree of life, exalted on a hill in power, descended from angels. And I'm RH negative on both sides. Okay, we're getting to Chisel. Something tells me I need to go back to, not Chisel, Bunny Boy. I think I'm being contacted by a mother goddess of some sorts. I have memories that aren't mine, but are of other people she's chosen. You've connected to a higher level, or just, I wouldn't say higher as in good, but greater intelligence. If it seems green to you, and when you have the dreams where you're communicating with the being, if it seems like she's very far away, that's the thing in Hollywood that they worship. That's what they call the Jezebel spirit. That's the mother thing that they talk about, and it's not a good thing. It's not good. It might seem like the Gaia and the Mother Nature, but if it seems like a liminal space when you meet it, where reality doesn't feel real, but it seems like all this energy is going towards this entity that feels feminine, that's a demonic goddess. That's a big bad thing that they worship in Hollywood. Gaia itself, if you want to talk about like the Great Mother, the Great Spirit, Pachamama. The bird just chirped. Do you hear the bird chirp on my right side? There's a bird sitting there and giving me confirmation when I'm asking for it. I have literally Pachamama right here with us. And I've definitely been invited by Smosh. I had a dream where Smosh led me outside of my room. And when I left my room, I was floating in a liminal space that was bright yellow. but very far away there was this giant tree woman, and she was absorbing the energy from people across the country. And when I looked in, I saw it was just complete darkness and evil that was portraying itself as good. It's not a good thing. It's creepy, it's weird, and it's bad. It's like the thing I'm showing, the thing from Teen Titans, that weird thing that looks like it has tentacles and roots, that, the scariest episode of Teen Titans, that weird horror thing that they did where it goes up into the tower. That's the thing that they're talking about. That's that weird spirit thing that gets in people. That's not a good thing, and that's why you have to have a strong connection with God, because you need discernment. I had somebody profess their testimony of when they were saved by Christ, and I literally saw some dark, witch-looking, gross, skinny demon thing in the doorway, angry, trying to convince me, trying to cast an illusion on me. And I'd seen that thing 2 years prior in the woods, that old lady spirit, that like mother thing, and it was eating my love every night when I would meditate at night, because I had gotten really good at it, especially when we were in an 8-year and a 9-year with that Scorpio and Sagittarius alchemization with constant change. Now we're in Capricorn, which is slow change and fixed, which is why I'm not moving anywhere. I'm going off on journeys and I come back exalted in power. But before, I was hiding in a den, churning the forest through, and there was a spirit that would eat my love, literally just eat me completely, and whatever I had left, the crows would show up and eat the next day. And then when I was 13, I was kicked out of my body when I was laying in my mom's bed taking a nap, and then I got kicked out of my body, and I saw that thing was digging in and trying to possess me, and I had to scream, and I woke up screaming and crying, and then it attacked my stepfather one night. So if it's that thing, like that, whatever that is not good. And I would try to, if it's feeding you memories of other people and you feel like you're attached in this network, I don't think that that's good. I think that it's kind of satanic. I don't think satanic isn't just bad. Like it's not it's not something you want to be a part of, because the same way that it's feeding you memories, it's taking your information as well. So is Christ. You're gaining wisdom from an extra dimensional being. But I wouldn't say that it's great. I wouldn't say that it's not. I think that it would be driving you down the wrong road, and it would be trying to trap you in a reality that would make you entrenched and completely connected to it. And there is good and bad with that, but it doesn't seem like it's a good thing for me. It doesn't seem like a good thing to me. When you get to it, I feel holy, but it's clearly not Christianity, God, Jesus, but it's got that like old church basement during Christmas time vibe that makes sense. You honestly seem like the only person I can come up with that inquiry that I've met on here. Thoughts about Lucanus theology? I don't know what Lucanus theology is. Right on. Is there any way I can contact you about the Mother Goddess entity stuff? It's just best to catch me on a live stream and vent. That's what I do. I don't like to talk to people off my phone. I don't even like talking to Heather off my phone or off live streams. I don't like relation to send Heather. I tried to send Heather a video of just a tarot reader that's dropping the 1133s in the Casey story, just to be like, if you feel bad about sending me the tithe money, I want to show you that I'm not bullshitting. But then there was so much demonic interplay when you speak to somebody through the phone. There was just so much going on, and it felt like they drained it completely. And then Heather went, I'm no longer having a panic attack. And I was like, yeah, they just stole it from me. Now I'm feeling your panic attack. So it feels like when the relationships, there's just so much energy transference I don't like. Even when I make a Discord and put people in the Discord, it creates a space where a lot of information travels through that I'm not in a place for. But when I go live, there seems to be a different thing. So I'm better, and it's better for me because other people, you never know who you're healing. You never know like who this information's for. There might be other people here struggling that I'm also helping with this stuff, and it's brave to put it out there. Like instead of just having a one-on-one with you, now there's 20 to 50 people always listening. I thought you were not going to make another video. This is about as bizarre as the new Subnautica game story. I'm purposely not playing Subnautica so that I can start live streaming it one day. Like I'm not playing any more games or watching people play any more games so that I can do my own stuff in the future. Yeah, and I think that that's kind of why I'm inspired to say no, because like what you would be bringing to me through the channel would be the connection to that thing, and here it's like I'm asking for whether I should or not, and then so if I'm right that I shouldn't be taking like private DMs anymore, and then all the things are going right to left here, and the birds over there chirping right on my right side. Um, the goddess of VC is Celtic somehow. Yeah, I mean, I was talking about how when that thing doesn't eat me, the crows do. And Celtic mythology, Morrigan is the goddess of the crows. It's the Irish war goddess. Um, like, I'm the first one that's ever put this out on the internet, but, and I'm not even sure that the guy who wrote this knew, but if you look at Dexter Morgan from the show Dexter, Dexter just means really smart, like somebody that does things very intelligently. And Morgan is the Irish goddess of war, Celtic goddess of war, the Morrigan. So Dexter's name literally means a like meticulous worker, very intelligent worker for the Irish goddess of war. So that's why the crow symbolism and the hunger and all this. I'm not sure if the person that wrote the book even knew what was helping him with the inspiration there, but it might be the Celtic goddess of war, and that's you might be plagued by crows trying to keep your frequency aligned with the Celtic goddess of war. Like you might wake up with this insatiable hunger that needs to be fed, and that's the crows in the crow network. And I'm constantly resisting that. When I allow myself to have my shadow, you know, like you're allowed to incorporate your shadow, but it just you are what you do. I try to resist it because I feel like I feel like I'm just in it, completely disassociated. So all that information is just always around me, and I'm just coalescing into things as I speak. In this great vast expanse that is my consciousness, with just this tiny star inside, and that's me. That's just always attacked and disintegrates or tries to form and can't because of spell work and stuff, and that piece is always attacked by the crows. When I do incorporate the focus, especially around Leo season, when I can hold the dark passenger in and allow myself to have an ego, the crows do bother me a lot less because I have this focus here instead of just opening myself up to everything and experiencing everything. Just it could be Morgan what you're speaking to, but either way, I don't necessarily think it's a good thing. I think that you should have a firm boundary, and it feels to me like whatever that is has a tubule that's stuck into your head, and it's keeping you a part of it with other things, which is pretty Celtic to me. Demon Hunter, the best thing you can do for what you're trying to do is to lead by example and work on your everyday life. And you can't help anybody until you help yourself. Like what you're supposed to do as a Aries on the mountaintop right there is to turn that into a high frequency shining light over everybody that isn't overbearing but is exemplary. You and Brian are supposed to, you live in a town full of very depressed people you say they're trapped under Masonic influence and they're going through it and it's very poor out there. um, I think you're just supposed to be the example, like the best teaching. Like I felt like I was supposed to go there and give you guys the teaching, like the 1 foot a day of space and remembering that everything is God and that the walls that you set up and the clutter in the house is all is mind and the eyes are the windows to the soul. So everything that you leave is technically leaving in your mind. Like if you don't get up and kind of do that stuff, it's sort of like creating a dent in your consciousness. And I think it really is just an individuation story where you embody something that shines for others without you having to really do anything.
I think it's more about the work, like beauty and simplicity. The work that you're doing in your day-to-day life has a lot of effects. And I don't think that it's like rampaging against evil so much as it's learning how to not let evil affect you at all. And not in a way like where you're going out and being like, meh, to the bad people, or getting everybody together to go, meh, to the bad things. I think it's just, it's more stagnant. It's more fixed. Capricorn and Aries are fixed signs. Your role is fixed. It's just being there. And then that overwhelming feeling that you have this righteous thing is a Sagittarius moon. Coalescing into higher levels of thinking and philosophy, finding the wrong in the world, and then feeling like you're on a rampage with momentum to go destroy all the bad. That's Jupiter's influence. And yeah, of course, you feel like every zodiac sign, because the zodiac signs are just hints. They're just hints. Allegories, much like the Bible is. It's also literal, because you literally are born at that time. Like, of course you feel all this other stuff, and then transmutation of that is what matters. And you're supposed to exemplify a higher level of wisdom. Maybe. I'm shaking my head at that. I just feel like it's supposed to be more of a shining light rather than an opposing force. But I forgot your life path. I forgot the year you were born and the day you were born. I forgot your reading, because it's been a long time. Yeah, this realm simulation virus is the trap. I was in the middle of an anxiety attack when you sent me that. What the fuck? It helped me a lot, but it was also replayed over and over again when you accused me of stealing your energy. Well, it felt like it felt like I was really throwing this, like, all this energy I had for some reason. It felt like it opened up a thing and it was all like taken, and then something tried to convince me that while you were watching the video that you were making it about yourself, and that you were accidentally taking from me, which makes sense because the other day you were saying something, and then the way that you changed tone when you were like, I'm tortured, all this. It was kind of like, I think I had posted a lot that the exact thing that you said. It was like, I'm tortured. And that could just be that if you're here to embody a sense of self, probably a lot of your attacks are destroying your sense of self. And then I just got a big shining light right to left. There is that you probably feel like you don't know yourself at all, because your self is constantly under attack. And for that's just why I keep saying a gym and a treadmill. When you get on the treadmill and you get in the gym, and you're experiencing the attacks heavily, but you have a foundational means that's nothing but improving, nothing but good. Every day when you go down there into the gym, you will be hit so hard. When I go to the gym and I'm just on the treadmill, it's the hardest attacks, where it's just over and over again. Literally some type of force is trying, like probably parasites and what could be demons or aliens. All this stuff is saying, just don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Look, you can do this. Go home and eat a pizza. Do all this. Like something really tries to get me to stop walking. And then I just keep walking and keep walking and keep walking, and that builds the confidence that's taken from trauma, the belief that you're allowed to say no and have it actually be there, instead of just this back and forth, like, can I say no? And then it's just left there, and then the other thing imposes. Like, that's what trauma does to you when people make you feel powerless, is it makes you feel like you don't have the ability to say no. Like when my mom lied to the cops and they tackled me and did all this stuff, pretty much molested me in jail, left me in a cell for days with no running water. I had no way to fix myself in this constant pain, and the police laughing and feeling like I'm just being raped over and over and over again. And that stayed with me for years and years and years and years and years, every single day, every moment of my time. And when I would try to fight back, it seemed like that would send a trigger out to the network, and then everybody would come in to join in, and it would get worse, where people would just come destroy me over and over again and leave me as, no, oh, please stop, please stop, like just all day, every day, like make it stop, as I'm just being pumped full of everybody else's energy, as they're just raping me all day. And then when I finally get a little bit of kernel of myself, like shining just a little bit, the crows go, and they rip it out and take it, and then they go, and then they take off. And then when the crows wouldn't bother me, I'd go to a gas station or a grocery store, and then somebody else would walk up to me and go, and then when I feel like because of the psychological manipulation over years, that programming, I eventually became, just as soon as I hear the trigger, MK Ultra bullshit, fucking, I would just subconsciously let it all go again, because I just had been conditioned to believe in learned helplessness, that I was powerless to stop it. Because the crows would just go and go and go and go until they would take it, and it would be painful, and eventually I would give up. Or I just couldn't fight back anymore. When I get on the treadmill and I get in a gym, and I'm alone by myself, and nobody's gonna bother me, and I'm by myself alone, placed away. Like probably if you built a gym where the old house is sitting, and you built a gym there, so you're kind of away from the family, and you just get up there every day and improve yourself. Every day you're gonna be looking better, you're gonna be eating better, you're gonna be feeling better every day, and every day you'll be dealing with those attacks in a way that actually makes consistent daily progress. That's what I'm saying, is that, like, I bet you like Spark delivery driving because it feels like you're doing something, and while you're in that momentum, you're feeling like you can get some semblance of yourself back. When you get to the gym, there's a more stern, provable thing that will consistently improve your life. And that's why it's been 5 years, I've just been saying, please, please get a gym. Please, for your kids and your husband and you, please. That's like the best thing. And then every time you leave that, and then I just saw another UFO going wee right to left over there that disappeared, or a star or something, but it was coming up from the mountainside, not down from the heavens. I saw a giant glowing light right to left. Like, build a home gym, get the horse stall mats, maybe get like the $10,000 modular home that you just kind of can set up and take down whenever you feel like it, and put the gym out there with the solar panels and everything, so that you have like a Wi-Fi out there and a charger for your device, whatever you need to do out there, speaker system to play whatever you're doing. Like, while you're sitting here listening to this stuff, you could be working out, and I swear to God, it will be, every single day of your life will be so much better. Every single day of your life will be so much better because you're improving in a way that's controlled, and you can see your progress, which will slowly enhance your sense of self and feelings of achievement that's real, that you can look at every day. Plus, you'll be looking more attractive. You'll feel more attractive. Like, your day to day will change. I'm not saying you're ugly or anything bad about you. I don't even know what you look like at this point. I haven't seen you in 5 years. But I'm saying that just in general, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel. Like, when I go to the gym and I work out and get better, when my muscles fill in, and it just changes how I move through life and the way that people treat me. So it'll make a complete shift. And I really think that you're supposed to be selfless royalty on that hill, or at least some type of leader of the community in some way, whether you're exemplifying it or not. So that's why I felt like the most important thing for you when I got there was teaching you the foundational skills of growth over consistency, so that you can make meticulous progress consistently every single day to improve your life. And that will be the shining example. That's how you will defeat the evil that you feel called to defeat. The evil won't be able to touch you. And they'll really try. And people will see them really trying. And they'll see that you don't care. I don't care. And that will inspire other people to not care. And that's your influence. That's how you change it. You lead by example. You don't have to destroy them. You just have to have fun without them. Live a life exclusive to those people and energies. It doesn't have to be bitter, because you kill them with kindness. If you get down into the low vibration and play the game, that's what they want. You just say, okay, and you're friendly, and you move on and do your life. Your mental health comes from taking control over yourself, and you can't do that when you live disassociated in cycles of trauma. And the only way that I've found to break free is by cleaning your house, taking supplements, and growth over consistency in the gym, and then working on improving your space. And then getting a job, it's not whatever, but also you could make so much money selling Jesus merch. You can make so much money selling political, right? Like a Trump meme on a shirt, and a Kamala meme on a shirt, and a Bernie meme on a shirt, and just going into groups and saying, hey, I'm selling this. Selling liberal tears shirts to racists. You know what I'm saying? And then using that money for Christ. You don't have to get a job if you don't want to, but you have to set up the foundation to be able to do that stuff. And that's what I've been trying to get for you for 5 years, is just getting you to that point. I've been telling you for years, please clean out the garage, please build it up and get a solar panel, please get electricity in there, and then get a sewing machine, and then embroidery, and then I will send you the shirts. I will send you the designs. I will get the manufacturer for you. I will do the Shopify store for you. And then every day of your life can just be, whenever you scroll and you find a meme that you think is funny or that people are reacting well with, you just throw it on a shirt, and then you put it on the Shopify store, and then you make an ad of you wearing it with AI of liberals crying, and then you just put it out there, or like a shirt of you wearing the Jesus thing, and then an AI video of you walking through a grocery store and all the demons go, ah, and then you're like, I got the blood of Jesus, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been giving you this stuff for years. Now's the time to do it. And I wish I could help. I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to get a call back from Roberts. I'm trying to go back up to the farm up here. I'm helping a guy build a deck this week, and I'm getting a brush cutter to improve the property. I'm doing the best I can right now. I'm going to the gym tonight, and then tomorrow I was going to build Unalak a thing, but Unalak's missing. But either way, I'm going to be cleaning out the whole space and moving everything. I'm doing what I need to do every day. I don't, I think that there's nothing you can do for anybody else until you do it for yourself. I was in a position where I literally couldn't, and you helped me through that, and I'm really grateful. I literally was doing my best. I was going in and asking for work. I was going and begging contractors to take me in and help me, and it didn't work out. You saw what happened with Mr. Crow. I would go in and just vomit my dreams to everybody and be like, can you help in any way? And they would say, nope. And then they revealed to me months later, oh, by the way, my dad has 500 acres. When they had told me for 3 years, oh, there's nothing I can do. Keep getting abused by the public. Bird on my right side. And then I felt maybe it was supposed to happen, but that's cope. You're a wise bond, you're yours. Thanks, man. Demon Hunter removed a message. Was that somebody saying you're that's methed up, bro? YouTube Demon Hunter the OA. I don't know. What up, Haley? Demon Hunter, it's just a trauma response from all the bullshit. I get it. I lash out at people that won't accept my begging for a bearskin rug. But I don't know. I the attacking yourself, feeling attacked because of the sense of self, embodying selflessness. I had to learn. I trashed my own reputation to get over it. I was so hurt that my community let me to die, and they would ridicule me as I was struggling and trying my best. They would all make fun of the guy with brain damage wandering around, and I loved them so much, and I wanted nothing but the best for all of them, and I wish that there was just nothing I could do, and it still hurts me that people treated me bad. It sticks with me. I get it, and I'm just saying that the best thing you can do is just work on yourself, and I don't know how you can say I don't hear you. But it's all good. I'm gonna unmod you. I'm not attacking you, but I'm just gonna give it a bit. I don't know. If once I have a job, and even if it's $20 an hour, I'm gonna be there 12 hours a day, and I'll have enough money, and then I can get solar, and then I can get a some type of Wi-Fi, and then I can get a computer, and then I can start day trading, and then I can say, oh well, UFO left to right says no, don't do that. I guess that's not the way, because a UFO, a giant shooting star across the sky, left to right where I was staring. So I'm going to say maybe that's not what I'm supposed to be doing, which was saying that I would go down there and renovate the old house, and I would build you a gym, and we would work on retaining walls and work on turning that into a Zen garden, the area behind the shed into a Zen garden, and then just giving you the means, like a study, so that every day you could apply your knowledge, because Sagittarians need to be a teacher or else they freak out. Sagittarius energy, if you have any Sagittarius energy at all, you're constantly channeling through the everything. You're connected to nature and the heavens, and all that information is chaotic, and without, you're always trying to philosophize into a disciplined practice, and you need to teach other people. You need to be making something to share the information, or it feels like it's a waste of time. That's Jupiter's influence. Like Pisces always want to take their dreams and lead everybody to their dreams, or make their dreams something for everybody to witness. And Pisces live in spirit, where Sagittarius, they're more trying to intellectualize and bring it down into the world, whereas Pisces are trying to take people out of the world. Sagittarian energy is trying to bring what's outside of the world into the world. Like leading a stampede, like that's how it feels. Sagittarians, Capricorns, Aquarius, and Pisces, and Scorpios, depending on where they're at in their journey, have this immense feeling of connection to everything. And their jobs are different. Like Capricorns try to build an empire. Sagittarians try to righteously destroy all the evil. Aquarius try to embody the truth and make it so the bad is impenetrable to them. Pisces try to lead the world to a better tomorrow, and Scorpios try to take all the pain and create something powerful with it. Another shooting star right to left, and they said you've almost got it. It was just a blink in the sky of a UFO. It wasn't a shooting star, it was a blink, and I heard you almost got it. That they have roles and they deal with a higher level of connection to people, and they embody something for the transition. I guess I'm trying to raise my vibration up to that light. I'm saying that with a higher connection to God, all that other stuff goes away. When you live in the truth with God, you shouldn't be feeling spiritually attacked if you're living right. You're so heavily stuck to the Bible, but if you're feeling attacked all the time, you're not living the Bible correctly, or the Bible is ineffective. If you're following the Bible religiously and you're still feeling attacked, then you're not doing something right. You're not doing it right. Like there's something foundationally wrong with how you're doing it. And that's what these attacks are trying to show you. That it's a test, that it's guidance. The experience you have, this overwhelming experience, it's there for a reason. Lean into it. Learn how to accept that it's there without it affecting you, and then see what it's really trying to show you. I dispel any hindering influence. Your words have meaning, and it cements with confidence and competence, which is grown over time. It grows. It's a time thing. Over time, it grows. And that's why consistent traumas like that break you down. But that was growth, and you'll be grateful for it at the end of the tunnel. Is any of this getting through? Be honest. Did anything I just said get through? That came down from a star that shined in the night sky and let me reach a higher connection to help you. It's happening to you for a reason. If it keeps happening cyclically, it's because it's something that you need to learn. And then once you learn, it'll go away. I fought until I gave up and I quit. The next day after I quit my fight, I'm given everything I was fighting for free. I was doing it the wrong way. But I had to have gone through that to get here, to give up. Long Lake and the abuse in Randolph and the abuse in Morrisville and the abuse in Johnson brought me back to Randolph. My brother dying brought me back to Randolph, where I performed at the 33rd Annual Celtic Music Festival. I got hit by a car. I didn't get hit by a car, sorry. I got my brakes twisted off and I crashed and had fractures, which put me by the river, which gave me Hawaii and Bonnie and Clyde, which are some of my best songs. You can't have growth without challenges. And if you're being challenged by it, write it down. Write it down. Write down what's exactly happening to you. I have crows that bother me when I reach a higher frequency and a higher sense of peace, because I'm amalgamating my own focus, and that's pulling on them and they're pulling on me. So we're stuck in this medium of tug of war for energy, which I still can't figure out. But now that I say it like that, I'm able to see exactly what it is, which is that I'm trying to coalesce my energy into something powerful. Okay, and now I'm seeing that I'm not housing it correctly because I'm not taking care of my body. I don't have supplements, and I'm not doing semen retention, and I'm not getting proper rest, and my house isn't clean. And I'm on my phone too much. The ADHD from my phone is not allowing my focus to cement correctly. So I'm feeling like all this pull and all this experiential stuff because I'm not doing enough in my daily life where I'm walking around focused. So when it comes time to fight back against the crows, when I focus the no, it fades because I'm just scrolling endlessly, consuming content. So my mind is just constantly one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. I can't cement that focus. And that was because I literally just wrote down the problem itself, and I was able to see the problem instead of experiencing it. I was able to see it objectively and find a correct solution. I'm supposed to lay down all over again and let people beat me. No, I just told you literally the exact opposite of that was what I just told you. Not trying to be harsh, but what I told you was the opposite of laying down. It was getting up and doing shit. Instead of focusing on what you can control, shift your energy into what you can create. And now all the birds are going off. On my right side, all the way back past the camper, all the way down on my right side, tons of birds just went breep. Let it go. Let it go and just work on improving your life. And then get your sense of self from achievement, I guess. I'm trying to see you as, you can't be a warrior without a fortress, I guess. I think I think your energetic attacks come from your structured environment because of the fixed sign of Aries. And the bird is chirping every time I said that. Just sitting right over there on the other side of, there's just a bird sitting on the other side of that shack right there with the firewood. It's just sitting in the tree right there. It flew over here just to chirp. And also Ursa Major is right above my head. The big bear. Which is pretty cool. Did that help? I'm good with my achievements. People come to my energy and try to steal from me. Put a giant glowing cross on the hillside. So when they look up at you, because they have to look at you to send the energy. You know, that's why people that are religious, when they built, like podcasters say that when they built structural foundations, they placed Bibles under the cement on four corners, and they inscribed scripture on every single strut, every single beam, and they just layered the entire building with scripture. And they said that really helps stopping people connecting to you through the 8th house and harvesting your resources. Learned helplessness sucks, especially when it compounds for decades. And the only way out of learned helplessness is to grin and bear it, hold a grudge, and then keep pushing until you feel good enough you realize that it was never really about them in the first place. And that it happened because you were allowing it. And you were allowing it because of learned helplessness from trauma. Living an active lifestyle changes the way your entire spirit body works. I don't think going to the gym is the answer either. I think the gym is like a Bitcoin mining machine for that energy. I think that it is a harvesting thing. I think that a home gym is the only way. Having a gym with mosquito nets out in the woods somewhere is the better way. But then you still are draining from nature. So that's why I say install bird feeders everywhere. Like I told you to put bird feeders. I didn't mean hummingbird feeders for a specific hummingbird. That's good, but I mean in general, like bring abundance into the environment. Sorry if I talk too fast for you to understand. Go back and listen to this. Like literally everything that I just said, go on the computer and cut it, and then just like once a week fucking play that shit back while you're on the treadmill or something, or write it down or something, because it literally, like, believe me, I literally, star from the heavens, shooting stars and birds confirming what I'm telling you. And don't just let what I said just go in your mind and leave. It's not about me at all. Just like take me away from the information I just shared. And that, I don't know what to say. I've been saying that. I said it to you for 5 years. I'm glad that you're fasting sunlight probiotics because I was on top of neurogenesis. I bet it is helping, but also that is foundationally, like that foundational teaching. That's why your experiences are so vivid, because I gave you the keys to have a more vivid experience. I gave you the keys to have precious energy. Of course, your precious energy is going to be attacked. Fasting sunlight probiotics, ketosis, autophagy, neurogenesis, imagine nothing and reverse it. Instead of focusing on what you can control, shift your energy into what you can create. The idea of separation was created by Freemasons to disconnect us from the living forest. So dissolve the word separation in your mind. There's no such thing as separation with anything. Of course, things are going to be transferred. Maybe the point that you feel all these attacks is because you're supposed to focus on it, and it's supposed to practice forgiveness. You're supposed to practice giving them grace and saying no with love, and releasing them with love. You're learning a foundational skill before you get the blessing. You're learning a skill that's going to help you in the next stage of your life. You're going through this because it's for a reason. It's a challenge. It's not a problem. And that's the only thing that kept me alive, and then I gave up and tried to kill myself. It sucks. I'm not saying it's not bad and what you're going through doesn't suck. It sucks. But that's the point of life. If we didn't want our lives to suck, we wouldn't have come here. That's the point of Earth. It sucks. And there's beauty in that. We wouldn't know beauty if we didn't know sucks. Maybe you're not ready to win the lottery because you couldn't comprehend the cloth that I'm cut. You haven't suffered enough, bruh. You know what I'm saying? You're just getting there. And it can't be about, I know the Aries inside wants to bring it to self. It's not about yourself. You keep talking about, you got pretty ego-y here. You got pretty ego-y in the comments here. Pinkford, glad to see you were back. So I was so sad. Like when I tried to shoot myself in the face, man. I gave up and tried to kill myself. I tried to shoot myself in the face. And then the next day, a Christian girl that said that she felt my heavy anointing from far away, and she constantly feels it. So I guess that there's a woman out there praying. I mean, she's 40 years old. She has 7 kids, but you wouldn't believe that she's a day over 23. Like, she looks good, and she looks like younger than me. It's crazy. Like, when people told me she was 40, I was like, I can't fucking believe that. You look like you're 23 years old. And she's like, I know, it's a blessing from God. Okay, get it. It's a blessing from God. I have 7 kids. She says that in her Christian stuff that God is showing her that I have this huge, huge, powerful anointing. But there's something I'm missing. So she doesn't come up here anymore. And I'm like, that's not what it's supposed to be. But I'm like, I think I'm just going through stages of it. Like I'm in the suffering phase still. I'm slowly building. So I'm learning more about every single stage for a reason. And she's like, yeah, I got that too. And then another person came up and said, no, she's telling the truth. Like I guess they had both mentioned me two people I had an interaction with separately came together and talked about me, and they both had the same conclusion from God. And then when I ask them for help, they have no help to give me. I'm like, why don't you think? You're like, whoa. And then I'm like, this is exactly what we need to do. And they're like, I'm like, come on, guys. All my senses come to life. Mr. Laughing Jokes, thanks, man. How have you been? This is where I live now. 100 acres. I have a hayfield. I have an apple orchard. I have a mile-long trail network down that way. I don't walk when I should. I should be more active with the crows. There's just a lot of crows. I had a pigeon briefly, and we can't find him now. I think a weasel got him. And I'm in a dilapidated, moldy camper that I should be cleaning, but I don't. I get up and get shit off Marketplace. I just got a hand dolly. Thanks to Demon Hunter. Everybody say thank you, Demon Hunter, for keeping me alive and going. I got a weed whacker. I got a nice table. I got a gazebo. I got a bird net. I got hand dolly. I got a garden wagon, machete, hatchet. Soon I'm getting a brush cutter it's a weed whacker with a saw blade. So I'm going to be taking out a ton of prickers and brush, and I'm going to be clearing out the whole forest here. Then I'm probably going to get a bunch of stone, and I'm getting a bunch of stone this week. So I'm probably going to build a fire pit and start burning all the brush up here, because you can see there's a fire going right there. People burn stuff out here. I don't think it's that big a deal. So I'm going to be burning all this stuff and then clearing away all the brush everywhere, and then possibly planting rose bushes over it or something else, like a fine fescue. And then, I have a stone plug. I have somebody that can give me a massive amount of stone. There's also a homeless guy that loves chiseling. And my dream, he's a tourist that loves chiseling. He loves chiseling little gems out of rocks. And then, I brought him here, but he's got the tourist stubborn selfishness and the power game shit. Like, I brought him here and all he was doing was fighting me for power. So I opened the Bible and the wind blew to Psalms 88, which is the poor man's prayer. And then I blew again one page back where it said, the people that defile the sanctuary get killed. And I have my sanctuary, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, fuck, I don't want to defile that shit. So I just heard, you can't defile it, and then a bird chirped. So I have that. And then just trying to set up these prayer spots and make a Zen garden with like a cool red emperor tree. Cool looking different types of trees out there, and taking out all the dead stuff so I can live and try to get... No, it's just fear programming saying, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. There's just a lot of stuff I'm trying to do here to make it better. And they said that this originally was supposed to be when the apocalypse happens, Christians are going to gather here to rebuild society. That's what the owner said the vision was for this place. So they wanted it to be a homestead. So I wanted to be a wildlife. I wanted to do wildlife. And I've learned every single thing that I need to work on for a wildlife because of Unalaq, because of a pigeon that flew into my car with a wing that healed wrong. Chief of the Northern Water Tribe. Now he's in the spirit realm. R.I.P. Unless the brush cutter and I find him just hidden in the brambles somewhere because he ran away from an animal and got stuck in prickers. But if that's not the case, he probably got swiped up by an owl because he was pretty dumb and he would sleep in the middle of the field when I had given him a fucking home to sleep in. I literally picked him up and brought him and put him in a place, and he kept going back out to, there's a lot of wisdom in that for me, that I should be just hiding here while the rest works out, which is funny because that was the tarot video today, was saying God is literally just telling you to patience and to wait it out while he sets everything up for you. Stop going and spending all your money running to try to, and they literally said, your life is not supposed to be laying stones one after another. And I was like, fuck, you understand me, don't you? You really get me on a deep level. Do I have anything to eat in here? I'm getting kind of hungered. Oh, I have a pizza, but I already ate a pizza today with my free Domino's points. I do have pork rinds. I can eat some of these pork rinds. Some of these stale pork rinds I'll eat. I do have peanuts. Yerp. Maybe if I put it like this, am I cutting out or is it good service? Like if I leave you like this. Come on, fine fescue. Let's take the dew has now done that, and then over there, and then this, and then fine fescue. I guess this is the best that we got right here. While I eat my pork rinds. You have a millionaire that owns that abandoned house behind you that is related to you. Ask him to take it down. It's a hazard. Your kids, Bradley could get hurt. God is also saying if you decided to have another kid, it would be a girl. So, I don't know, that's just floating next to my head. And Bradley would have a sister. I just looked up and then I got hit with a really high vibrational energy, and then I saw a bunch of dark tubes going up into the sky. And I felt like that was a connection, that the darkness is infesting people. And then I heard, but they can't affect you here. I don't care. Num 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 num. Stale pork rinds are pretty good. This is... Frank said he knew I was black because I eat these pork rinds. He said, Casey, you're a black person in a white body. And then Frank said, I'm a white person in a black body. And I was like, that's weird. But my dad did have 2 black cats. And before that, he had 2 black labs. And then before that, he had 2 Irish kids with African names. And now his grandchildren are both black. My nieces are black. Not that it matters. I'm not, I don't care. But just saying, I think it's cool that the 2 of each is cool. 2 kids with African names, and then 2 black labs, and then 2 black cats, and now he has 2 black grandkids. So I'm assuming I'm gonna... Like, I think... mixed. I don't know, I just think black girls are more attractive. But only like, there's a certain type of features that I like. Like, I don't like black girls that look like fish. I like black girls that look like cats. And I just don't really feel attracted to white girls as much. I just feel like they're aliens to me. Like a different species. Which I don't know, maybe it's epigenetic. And I'm mad at their ancestors or something. I just wish native girl, probably Hawaiian girls are bad. I just wish native girls weren't built like Plank from Ed, Edd n Eddy. I mean, do I really like white girls? Not really. Like, my first girlfriend was white, but she was Irish, and she was dummy thick. And she looked great. Like, she was amazing. And then my next girlfriend was mixed, Native American and Irish. And then my next girlfriend after that was Native American and Irish. And then my next girlfriend after that was Irish and Puerto Rican. And then after that, my girlfriend was black and mixed. White mom, black dad. I guess you could say Irish people are mixed because they have like 30% of their skin is melanated freckles. I don't like white people. Sue me. Is this Casey live, man? What's up? Hope all is well, man. What up, Kidstove77? I tried to shoot myself in the face and then I took a break. And then this is where I live now. I went all the way out there, cocked the gun and pulled the trigger, and then I forgot to put bullets in it because I was manic and out of control. So then I was like, that's a sign. I assumed that he would have loaded it, and I didn't bother to check, probably because I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know, like, I think I wanted it to be an accident. But I just wasn't thinking. I ran in, grabbed it, ran out, did it. Didn't work, put it back, went out in the woods to freeze to death. Waited out there, came back and left it nearby. Because of the snow, you couldn't bring the car up here because of the snow. And then Kendra found it, towed it. They gave it back. I owe Kendra money. It is what it is. They're not that upset about it. Then I stayed off my phone for a while, and then I felt called to come back to YouTube, so I did. So then I saw what's really cool is that I was writing my own Avatar series, and Kendra made those pictures of me as the Avatar. That's pretty cool. That she was caught, like she did it. Like I think that either she tapped into my energy or God came through, because what happened right after that was the Avatar movie got leaked. While I was writing myself as the firebending Avatar, and Kendra was making pictures of me as the Avatar to my old writings that isn't in my notes app, but it was in my Google Docs. The Avatar movie got leaked. I'm really happy with the story. I don't have it all figured out yet. I have the Sundance. I have Connor I have Wildfire Connor, and then I have a little bit of Wildfire Casey. And then maybe maybe season 3 of Wildfire would be Gary about my dad. But and that would complete the cycle of the Connor is who Casey takes care of, and then Gary's my dad. Maybe it would be my dad finally having like righteous justice for what people did to him. And he learns how to control the bear as an old man. He learns how to control that raging bear and Leo energy. Whereas I'm like a fire cat, he's like a bear monkey. A fire bear monkey. No, I'm an earth cat with fire energy. My dad is a Leo Libra fire monkey. My dad is a fire monkey, and he's a Leo, and he's cool, and they called him the Legend. And then he called himself the Legend for a long time. But he's a legend for me. He's the funniest guy I know. It sucks that he tried to kill me. And he holds over what I did to him, but what I did to him was exactly what he did to me when I was 14. I did everything that he did to me. Except one time he was being really negative to me, just shit talking me, and I lashed out at him. But other than that, he pushed me into a wall, I punched him. He grabbed me by the leg and dragged me around the house and swung at me with a hammer, and then tried to break all my stuff. What I'm not happy about is that it happened right where the police brutality happened. It was the same spot. I don't know if it's karma or what, but I do feel about it, but also, fuck you. And I love you. I hate my family. I don't really have love for my mom anymore, really. At this point, it's just been too much. And it's done irreparable damage to my life. I can't see. Everything's blurry. I can have spiritual connections now, which is cool. Like Daredevil, like when your eyes go away, you get better senses, but I look out at the view and I can't see it as good as I know that I could if that hadn't happened to me. And especially holding it over my head for years and then weaponizing it whenever you felt like it. That was cruel. Shit talking me every day. And then when that's not good enough for you, when the drug doesn't hit hard enough, you shit talk me on social media. Irreparable damage to my reputation because she posted on a group of tens of thousands of people, my hometown, everybody that I grew up with that I wanted to prove wrong with their misguided interpretations of me. Permanently ruined it by saying, my son is schizophrenic. That's my mom saying it. So how am I supposed to combat that? I said the truth. I said I left home at 14. I never really had a relationship with my mom. We never really spoke much about anything other than like TV shows or like asking her if I was fat or just talking about therapy. Really wasn't much else we talked about my entire life. It's pretty much just those three things. Saying, can you give me a ride here? Can I get food? And that was it. Sometimes my friends and I would mess with her and it was funny. Like she had a tree of life that was on the other side of my bed. Like so my bed was here in the wall and her couch, and then in between my bed and the wall and her was a picture of the tree of life or the acacia or the Casey. And sometimes we would go in and we would flip it for fun, or we would kind of tilt it a little bit. And one time we took all the furniture in the house and we blocked her in her room so she couldn't get out. And that was pretty funny. I'm not saying I'm not saying she's all bad, but she's done just too much to me and she doesn't care.
and she won't change. And at this point, like, imagine how far I would have gotten with my channel if she had just given me that portable power station and I could live stream instead of all my charges were trespassing because I would have to go charge my device. If I had that power station with me, none of that would have happened, and I would have been able to live stream 12 hours a day. It would have given me the motivation and less loneliness. So there would be no trash at Vivek's cabin. I would have fixed up Vivek's cabin, taken the phone with me, and gone and chopped down trees and probably blown up like Will Survives and been like worldly famous by now. But she had to keep it at her bedside just in case there was a zombie apocalypse. And she would need her fat, broken, smoking for 40 years. She thinks that she would waddle into the woods if the world ended, but really it was just a shit excuse to say that she's greedy. And now I'm a felon because she filed an RFA on me, convinced I was trying to kill her when I wasn't. No evidence suggesting that that's what I was doing. I wake her up at night and say, hey, I'm going to go charge my car battery. There was a loud noise because I dropped the cat. The cat's fat. It makes a loud noise. So I say, hey, I threw the cat. And I'm going to go charge my car battery and leave. She tells them, I don't know, he's got a grenade. He's got a grenade. He's got machetes and hatchets and bats, and he's coming to kill me. She won't open the door. She's saying, hurry, hurry. She had 3 heart attacks a couple months prior. I go around to the window. I look in, and she's smiling, like holding a kitchen knife and lying to the cops. So I'm just trying to open the window and say, hey, are you good? She slams the window in my face, says, he's trying to break in and kill me. The cops mace me, don't wash my eyes, lie to the news about what happened, ruin my reputation, lock me in essentially a broom closet with no bedding or water, and leave me there for days, and then make me get on my knees and put their crotch right next to my head. You don't have to do that to be travel cuffed. They did it because it was a sexual Freemason thing. Now they have people that patrol the streets of my hometown wearing the Freemason logo on their back and doing rituals in front of everybody and flying their hand signs in the cop show that they do, where they just beat the shit and molest homeless women in public in front of everybody. And then she made it clear that if I didn't conform to her codependent narcissism, she would do it to me again. She would love bomb me and offer to pay for things that I really needed, like a storage unit and car insurance. And then she would message me saying she loved me and she misses me and all this stuff. And then whenever she felt like it, or she felt like I wasn't answering her enough, if I wasn't in that, she couldn't feed off me anymore, she'd call the cops. So now I can't get a job for probably the next 10 years of my life. Felonies, at least in Vermont, stay on your record for 10 years. So I'm ineligible to work anywhere for 10 years. I will be 36 years old by the time I can get a job. So thanks, Mom. And she relishes in it. She pretends like she cares, but secretly she's relishing in that she had done that to me. She goes, I just wish I knew how to help you. And I'm like, I'm doing fine. I just wish I had a gym membership. And I wish that I had a portable power station. She goes, I have a portable power station. Can I have your portable power station? No. What the fuck? No. And I'm like, it's more about gaining sympathy from people that she spews it to than it is about actually has anything to do with me at all. She had to be the mom at wit's end to cope with that she didn't want to be a mom and gave me away. Because I wouldn't wake up and go to school. I dropped out of school, got a full-time job, and was saving up to get my family a house. When my dad did that stuff to me at 14.
I was just going to get buff, learn on my own, get my GED, save up all my money, and by 18 years old, I'd be able to put a down payment on the house and have their Section 8 and disability money go towards financing the mortgage, and I would get them a 100-acre property like this, where my mom could be in an A-frame cabin, my aunt could be on a treadmill and healing, and we would have our own land and not stuck in Section 8, and then they could do their thrift store thing, where they used to go to thrift stores and get a bunch of crap, and then they try to sell it at a tag sale for profit. I would just get them an e-commerce store where they could scroll instead of on Facebook and Trump and all this bullshit, where they could just get an e-commerce Shopify store and they would be thrift shopping and making a lot of money that way. And then they would use the gym at the bottom there. Jesse would have his own animation studio. Ariana could do whatever she wanted. My dad would be free. I was planning on buying him a Lexus. I went to West Virginia to buy my dad a Lexus. That's why I went there. And they have the balls to say bad things about me. I was God working in their life. And finally, when I gave up and said, fuck them, they'll never come here, I have this place that they'll never see, ever. And I know she's sitting there watching, being like, I bet they already gave out my zebra rug. I have a $15,000 zebra rug sitting in my mom's closet. The real skin of a zebra that you're legally not allowed to get anymore. It's no one will ever be able to get another one for a long time without poaching and then black market. And I'd give it to my dad, but he's a drunk. If I knew that my dad would take care of it, yeah, he can have it and look at it every day and feel pride or whatever he needs to feel from having it. But I just don't trust it right now. And that's fair. Look at your behavior. I'm not trying to shit on you. I'm just saying it's less about you and more about that I just want to make sure that our family has it. But I guarantee you these piece of shit idiots probably squandered it. And I bet they love doing it too. Like, I bet my aunt sits there and thinks about, I bet it feels good to think about getting rid of all my stuff from her basement. Because they make up that there's something wrong with me. My mom thinks I'm schizophrenic. The last conversation we had, she talked about the aliens that she saw outside. But she doesn't have any problems and I have problems. She believes the world is possessed by demons, but I must be a schizophrenic that needs help. Fuck them. They did it to themselves. I tried for years. What are your thoughts on Reich Commissariat Caucasian? I don't know what that is. You were just planted in the situation to do your soul path work and help others in the way. Yeah, I mean, I'm a 33/6. So my life would be caring for my home and family and then trying to save the world. And that's kind of what I do, is just I take care of everything. But also the 1133 all that Sagittarius. I'm always coming up with the solutions to fix everybody's life all the time. If they would just let it happen and do it. All my aunt has to do is stop eating until she can put her money into a consistent diet of cooking chicken, rice, and beans and eggs and stuff, and then slowly work her way up to walking on the treadmill and getting into caloric maintenance, which is a healthy amount of excessive calories, like probably I would say 2,000 to 2,200 calories a day. Instead, she knows she has to eat or drink the Gatorade. You also have to cut out all the shit, stop eating microwave pizzas, and cook chicken, eggs, and rice every day in a crock pot so that by dinner time, you can pull it out of the crock pot. Every morning you just throw it into the crock pot and you just eat that for a year and you lose 100 pounds and your heart is fixed and you can actually live to see your grandchildren's graduation. I even offered to do it for them. I would go there and do that for you. I brought her a treadmill. I bought and brought her a treadmill. And then I sold it when she said no. Plus she brought in some guy named Frank wearing all orange. So that's Frank plus 33. As like muscle, because they were terrified, because I said if my cousin doesn't want to get his shit together, he's going to be a loser forever. And I went on a walk. When I came back, they had taken all my stuff and thrown it at the door and brought somebody in to defend them against me. I was like, you fucking schizos. You schizo narcissist. Get the fuck out of here. Why would I want to be here? I've done nothing to any of you. You're just mean because you're British. Yeah, it's because you're from Britain. That's why you're mean. I've done nothing to any of you. And then they got together and lied to the cops. And then in the body cam footage, my aunt is trying to tell the cops to steal my car from me. They were jealous of the car that I got. I was so happy that I had gotten a car, finally, after suffering homeless for that long. Terrible abuse. Daily. Horrible shit. And then I worked hard and performed songs at parties and got a car. And the first thing I did was go back to see my cousin. And the whole time, they're conspiring to get my car taken from me. Jealous inbred pieces of shit. On my cousin's side. Because they're not blood related. They're multi-gen Vermonters. And her last name is Hill, which is the same thing Brian means, just without power. And they live at the top of a hill their whole life. And my cousin's last name is after the Emperor Claudius. And he looks like the guy. And my dad looks just like Brian Boru's statue. And then my aunt's only friend, her last name is O'Brien. But I'm crazy for saying there's a connection here. There's an obvious thematic presence in the orchestration of our lives that's reoccurring that we can't escape, even if we try to run away. All I have to do is stop fucking eating, Melissa. Stop it. Get a crock pot and cook chicken, rice, and eggs for a year. It sucks, but do it. Gmail. I do believe demons possess people for sure. A lot of the negative thought comes from entities trying to hook you into the thought loop and believe it's your thought. Yeah. For real, they try to attach and then through learned helplessness, try to slowly overtake and replace your thoughts and then guide your impulses towards self-sabotage. Which is why I think the entire family had to come against me, because it was in the whole family, and that's why they consistently needed to continue gaslighting each other to perpetuate the false narrative together, because it felt like they were getting power at my expense to give them a better feeling when they would continue self-sabotaging and being addicted to the internet. Mainly Facebook, addicted to Facebook. Which is the F is the tubal cain. It's a Masonic. Facebook itself is a social media Masonic institution designed to bring you into demonic energy to consistently be sacrificing your life force energy. So likes and haha reacts and stuff, those are the symbols of Solomon, because Freemasons stem from the Knights Templar, who dug and originally were excavating the Temple of Solomon to understand his wisdom and get access to the Well of Souls. And what they learned was how to create social media to become the Well of Souls, to sacrifice all your energy into social media. So the emojis are demonic invocations to connect you to the negative powers and principalities. That's why the darkest people love the haha reacts, because that's literally invoking a demonic force. That the charge that those white people feel when they do the haha reacts is literally a demonic ritual. Hear that bird right to left? Speaking in code. It's going. It's speaking in tongues at me. And when I can raise my awareness, they're actually speaking English. It's just at a frequency you have to raise your awareness and let go of the stuff surrounding you to really hear it for what it is, and you can hear that they're actually speaking words. But that might be too crazy for people. But if you stay out here long enough, you realize usually people need like some form of psychedelics to get there. But when you can really get into what the bird is saying, like really extend your consciousness to the bird selflessly without intruding, and really listen to what it's saying, it's speaking English. The English is just hidden in the, but they're saying words at you. Birds speak. That's why they called them messengers of God. Yeah. Real shit. Like I had some type of dark entity outside my cabin in Randolph, and it was just out there, and it was trying to put me back to sleep, and it was harvesting my life force, and I was fighting it, but it was just too overwhelming, and I was getting way too tired. And then a bird flew up to the window and went, "Wake up! Stay awake! Stay awake!" And then I passed out, and I woke up lifeless, and I couldn't move, and the birds were all gone. And the first Christian that came to pray, the first Christian I met here at this prayer spot, was talking about how her husband, people think he's schizophrenic because he sees these shadow people that attack him. And I'm like, duh. Look up Vermont shadow people, and you'll see hundreds of testimonies of normal everyday people that have a spiritual experience out in the woods where they see them. You made a practice of achieving higher levels of consciousness, you're going to become aware of these things that most people are too dull to see. And I bet he needs a creative outlet. She's like, actually, that's all he does is create. He's got a gifted voice. So I was like, yeah, that's, the world will try to down you, because that's the point. You're kind of signing up for it when you get into religion. Yeah, it's midnight. I'm getting tired. I want to go to the gym. I'm hoping in the morning, because there won't be any rain, that Vivek will be back. Not Vivek, the chief of the Northern Water Tribe. Uni. My vape is at 30, charge 41%. And we're going to move this over here. So when I get back, it's charged. I once hiking the out-of-town area, and there was one huge tree there, and I thought, like in the books, can you actually connect to the tree and hear something and climb down the tree? When we were talking about connecting to nature, did you hear that bird chirp over there? Fuck you. As soon as I get to the car, it locks. Oh my god. What the heck? Fuck. Where the fuck? Okay. Ugh. What the hell was that noise? And then tomorrow we clean out the car. Let's see what my charge is at. Or my gas. Let's see how much gas I have. If I have enough to go, I will go to the gym. If I have at least a quarter of a tank. I have just under a quarter of a tank. It'll be risky, but worst case, if it gets that low, I'll just wait 6 hours for the thing to open because the gas station is right next to the gym. A mosquito. Okay, the dew is on the outside, so I don't need to do that. I can do this. And then turn this off, headlights on, turn the flash off. Everyone's hiking the out of town area, and there was one huge tree there. After smoke weed, I heard people are like trees. Some are small trees with little roots, and some are big trees with big roots. I don't know, that gets into... When I talk too much about that, I feel like people that aren't doing the work like people use the stuff that I share for the wrong reasons. It wasn't sunny today, so what's the temperature? I bet it's 57, that's not bad. And I'm definitely tired and I don't feel like going to the gym. But I'm developing a rash. I need to go at least once a week. And there's a campground that gave me permission to shower. I mean, yeah, everybody's like a tree. Our nervous system looks like a tree. If you in the wintertime, when you look at trees, they all look like the Statue of Liberty. Like they're all growing up towards the sun. But too quickly does shit like that turn into ego power games and influence games and spell work on unsuspecting victims and abusing empaths and I'll go until my service runs out, which will be pretty quick. I'm gonna have to get a job, man. I don't know. Unless I can get another religious person to send me their tithe. I'm fucked. Cause the girl that gave me the car has messaged me and said, it's been 6 months. You haven't given a single payment of that $840. My insurance runs out next month. What are you gonna do? And I just haven't said anything. What am I supposed to say? Like, sorry, I'm a felon because my mom lied to the cops and I've been having trouble getting jobs anywhere. No one will hire me and I have a purpose. I'm doing stuff. I did try to kill myself. But I figured I'll just... Once I get a job, my paycheck will be enough to cover it. That's what I'm working towards, unless anybody here could hit my Cash App in my channel description, help me get towards that $840. Or else, I don't know, if she really wants to be like that, she could have my car repoed. If she really wanted to, she could have my car taken back. This was her parents' car and they upgraded. Node Mouse is gonna loan me $300 maybe, and then I'm gonna be paying that over time so I can get the wheel hubs fixed. Faces the trees and stuff. I don't know, before I get into doing psychedelics or smoking weed or drinking or anything, I want to make sure that my life is set up well. So I don't go too far off the deep end and I have... Time I did mushrooms, I was fucked for 2 weeks. just being a part of the forest, and it to connect everything. And the stuff that I learned about reality when I did the psychedelics, like nature showed me that everything is connected and the eyes are recording through memories. So it told me to look around for animals, and then when I saw that the animals were pretty much robots, and the squirrels and the birds and everything were following me through the forest and staring at me because they were all recording me. And I was in a TV show, and it's orchestrated, show me something, and then an old man ran out into the woods and started screaming at the crows, and feeding them. And I could see the crows' minds and how they really felt about the guy. Crows are prideful creatures.